From Hollywood, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show. George and Gracie. George Burns and Gracie Allen on the show when his orchestra for singing glee. We're the Smoothies Three. Last but not least, and with Bud Heaston. And here they are, George and Gracie.
Thank you. Gracie, say hello.
Oh, hello.
Well, Gracie, if you happen to read my name on the society page one of these days, don't be surprised.
What'd you say, George?
I say, if you happen to read my name on the society page one of these days, don't be surprised.
Oh, no, I won't be. Well, there's no reason why you shouldn't
right
be in
there
society.
all the time, but
well, I didn't say it, George.
You know, it's very hard to see when you're looking up.
Yeah.
Have to look down.
You know, George, only yesterday I was saying to my sister Bessie, what has Cornelius Vanderbilt got that George hasn't got? He's got position, he's got friends, he's got money, he's got culture.
Me?
No, Cornelius Vanderbilt.
Oh.
But my sister Bessie says I still think he's a lowbrow.
Cornelius Vanderbilt?
No, you.
So your sister Bessie doesn't think I can get into society?
Oh, well, don't worry about it, George. Everybody I told this conversation to said she's crazy.
Your sister Bessie?
No, me.
Well, anyway, Gracie, the reason I said that you would see my name on the society page was because last night I went out
you
with
did? Well, last night I went to the Palladium Ballroom where Artie Shaw is working.
Yes.
And as I came in, the band was playing Jeannie with the light gray hair. So I checked my
Just
coat.
a minute.
And
Jeannie with the light gray hair?
yes, so I checked my coat.
Gracie,
and then
it's Jeannie with the light brown hair.
Yeah, I know, but she turned gray from overwork. So, let's see, where was I?
Maybe from playing around too much.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So I checked my coat, and when I got to the dance floor, the head waiter said, "Follow me, miss," and I did, and he was a beautiful dancer. Anyway, after...
The head waiter?
No, Cornelius Vanderbilt.
Look,
So...
Gracie, I started out to tell you, last night I was with a very famous society girl.
Oh, yeah. And is she mad at Artie Shaw?
The society girl?
No, the bubble dancer who works at the Palladium.
There's a bubble dancer at the Palladium?
Yeah, and every time Artie plays her number, he fills his clarinet with buckshot.
With buckshot?
Yeah, and that way he plays fantasy and pops the bubbles at the same time.
Pops the bubbles at the same time?
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, I wish I were there last night.
Why, Bud, I'm surprised at you.
I can't help it, George. I'm just crazy about fantasy.
This Bud is really a musical genius.
He is. Say, did you know that Bud plays all the popular songs with one hand?
Well, what does he do with the other hand?
Drops in the nickels.
Anyway, last night I was out with this society girl.
Oh, who cares?
As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. And if it happens again, a certain guy is going to get fired. Last night I was out with...
Look, it might interest you to know that there's a certain clarinet player that you can't bully because he doesn't have to take that kind of talk.
Who? You?
No, Benny Goodman.
Very funny, Artie. A big scream.
Artie, that's a fine thing to say to George after the hundreds of nice things he's done for you.
Hundreds of nice things. What's he ever done?
Yeah, George, name one.
Name one? How about the time...
Yeah, Artie, how about that time?
What time?
Yeah, George, what time?
When I first found him. What was he?
Yeah, Artie, what are you going to say to that?
Nothing.
Well, that may be true. But, George, you've got a lot of nerve saying Artie was nothing.
I said Artie was nothing?
Oh, please, George, once is enough.
Wait a minute. Who does George think he is?
Yeah, George, who do you think you are?
This is stupid.
Please, Artie, you can't say George is stupid.
What?
Well, he is stupid.
You're nothing.
Yeah, you're nothing.
You're nothing.
Oh,
yes,
please,
yes,
please,
you're nothing.
boy, please. What's the argument about?
Well, he said I was nothing.
He said I was nothing.
Oh, aren't you two boys ashamed of yourselves arguing over nothing? Come on, boys. Shake hands and make up.
Well, against my will. All right, Ollie. I guess it was my fault.
Yeah, well, it's against my will, too. And it was my fault, I guess. After all, you have done a lot of nice things. You have done a lot of nice things for me anyway.
Name one.
Yeah, name one. Oh, quiet! This is going too far. You people are just jealous because I'm stepping into society.
Yes, George, I think it's great. Wonderful, marvelous, delightful.
Society?
No, spam.
Look, will you stop? This girl is coming up here tonight, and I'm trying to tell you
Pero
that
¿de qué
it's
se
very
trata de la
important.
¿Por qué no
that-
me dijeron de la sociedad? Yo sé mucho de esas cosas, hombre.
Well,
Ya, nada más.
now it's the guitar player. Senor Lee, why are you butting in?
Senor Burns, this society girl, this debutante,
Debutante?
see, is she pretty like that movie star Catherine Hartburn?
Heartburn? It's Hepburn.
Hartburn.
Hepburn. Do you know the Philadelphia story?
Is it clean?
What an ignoramus. I'll bet he can't even spell his own name.
I can't so spell my own name.
Well, let me hear you do it.
What? From memory?
Gracie, I don't think that was so funny.
Well, neither do I.
And what are you laughing at?
Well, my brother Willie's letter. He's the one who's been drafted, you know.
Oh, yes, he just joined the army, Willie.
Yeah, well, here's the letter. Dear Mother, Dad, Gracie, and Mr. Faversham.
Who is Mr. Faversham?
Well, that's the mailman. He always reads the letters first.
Well, that stands to reason.
Thanks very much for the birthday turkey you sent me. My tent mates and I lit the 21 candles, and we really had a wonderful time. Yesterday I was on
21 candles on the turkey?
Yeah. Yesterday I was on the
Your brother is 21 years old?
No, the turkey.
Oh, the turkey.
Yesterday I was on the target
So he
range.
put 21 lit candles on the turkey?
No, under the turkey.
Lighted the candles under the turkey?
Yeah. Well, how else could he cook it?
Well, I never thought of that. I see what you mean.
Yesterday I was on the target range with a group. George, what letter is this? An A or a V?
Looks more like an R.
No, it couldn't be R. His R's look like G's.
What about his eyes?
They're very weak. That's why his R's look like
I
G's.
see. Oh, well.
His O's look like M's.
His O's look quiet. He was on the target range,
yeah.
remember?
Yesterday I was on the target range with a group of rookies, and I shot for 3 hours. I would have shot longer, but I ran out of rookies.
Your brother ought to get a medal for a thing like that.
Oh, he did, but not just for that.
Hmm.
He's also the only tank in the regiment who doesn't need armor.
That's a nice kid. He probably parts his hair with a corkscrew.
Yeah, well, so does my brother.
I was going to say corkscrew.
Yeah.
I should have said it.
Yeah.
Got a big laugh.
Well, say it.
Thanks. You see, you
Anyway.
don't have to write for me.
No,
I
no.
just make a mistake, and what a wow, what a wow.
Well, anyway, more letter.
Yes.
Thanks for the picture of Daddy you sent me to wear next to my heart. I had a little difficulty at first, but now I slip the picture inside of my woolen underwear and then climb in with it.
He climbs in with it?
Yes, it's a full-length picture,
I
George.
see what you mean, yeah.
Even so, I had to cut the feet off the picture, as Daddy is 5 inches taller than I am, and I look silly being that far off the ground. Signed, Willie.
That's the finish of the letter.
Yes.
Good.
P.S. I've got 3 marvelous tent mates, but one thing seems to be lacking. We haven't got a tent.
Well, I've heard everything. Well, that's plenty, Gracie.
Now the Smoothies, Damn Charlie and Little was saying there'll be some changes made, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Senor Lee would chime in.
Well, Smoothies and Senor Lee, that number was Tres Chick. That's French for in the groove. But none of you people would know that because you don't mingle with society, you see.
All right, poor man's Charlie Knickerbocker. Who are we out with? Doris Duke or Barbara Hutton?
Happens to be Kobina Wright Jr.
Kobina Wright Jr.
That's right.
Well, pull my tooth and call me Duchess.
Well, wise guy, she's coming up here tonight, and I'm taking her out right after the broadcast.
Say, George, if you want to make an impression, rent a butler and have the butler
Gracie,
come in and...
hire a butler. Rent a butler, did you say?
Yeah.
Gracie, hire.
George, if you want to make an impression, rent a butler and have
Gracie,
them come in.
hire.
George, if you want to make an impression, rent a butler. I'm sorry, that's as high as I can go.
No. Look, Gracie. You misunderstand me, and I pretty near killed the whole thing altogether. Look, Gracie, people rent furniture, they rent cars, and they rent apartments, but they hire butlers.
Well, that's Hollywood. They haven't got a dime, but they've all got butlers.
Gracie, this whole thing was your idea.
Yeah, but I bet if I thought of it, you'd say it was silly.
All right, when Kobina Wright gets here, I'll rent the butler.
Hire.
Quiet.
Anyway, to impress her, have the butler announce your name in Russian.
In Russian?
Yeah, you'll be a much bigger name that way.
Well, I've had enough.
I've had enough? Oh, that's pretty. But personally, I like Rachmaninoff.
Look, Gracie, when she gets here, will you try and conceal your absurdity?
Oh, is that thing showing again?
Yeah, it's a little bit on the bias. It's showing just a little bit.
Senor Burns, if you want to make an impression on her, why don't you buy a racehorse like Saw Biscuit?
Saw biscuit?
See.
You mean sea biscuit?
Saw.
Sea.
Saw.
Sea.
Saw.
Sea.
Let me off. I'm getting dizzy.
Senor Lee, this goes for you, Gracie, and everybody else here. Tonight, I don't want any wisecracks.
Oh, leave it to me, George. Good and Ritzy, huh?
That'll help a whole lot. But society people don't talk that way. They have charm. They have culture. They're natural. Why, they hardly open their mouths when they speak. As a matter of fact, Bud, a big mouth shows lack of breeding. Isn't that right, Gracie?
Oh, don't ask me. I wouldn't know.
Okay. Anyway, Kobina Wright ought to be here any minute, and you'll really love her. She's a swell girl. But what I'm nervous about is right after the program, I've got to meet her uncle, and, gee, I hope I make a good impression.
Mr. Burns.
Yes, what is it, 4 years at Harvard?
If you'll allow a sound man, perhaps I can be of service.
Well, let's hear it.
Having majored in psychology at Harvard, I feel qualified to advise you on the art of making friends.
Well, thanks.
It's all a matter of striking a note of common interest.
I think you've got something.
For instance, if her uncle happens to be a philatelist, talk about stamps.
Yes.
If he happens to be an Epicurean, discuss foods.
Mm-hmm.
If he happens to be a fraternity brother, give him the fraternal handshake. It might even make it easier if you knew what college he went to.
Well, he's a Yale man.
Give him a hot foot.
Well, thanks for your help, sound man. When Kobina gets here, I wish I could think of a novel way to impress her, but I can't.
I can.
Of course, I could have the boys give her a fanfare.
Well, of course, if my uncle were here, he and I could do something together,
know,
but he
yes.
isn't here, so I guess I'll have to do something by myself,
She
I guess.
comes in, we can roll out
My
a
uncle.
carpet.
You know, he's the one who sees with his thumb.
No,
my uncle.
that wouldn't
You know
do.
that, George? My uncle sees with his thumb.
It would be a
lot
good
of people
idea,
don't believe
though.
that. He sees
To have
with
her,
his thumb,
when
but
she
he
comes
does.
in, I'll just
Even my
walk
uncle
up to
wouldn't
her and
believe
say,
it. If he
"Hello,
hadn't seen
Kobina.
it with his own thumb.
How was things?"
You see, my thumb,
Nice day
my
today.
uncle, with his thumb, he sees his thumb, my uncle.
Sees.
With
his thumb.
Yeah, my uncle.
Your uncle.
Yeah.
Your uncle sees with his thumb?
Yeah, he sees if his soup is hot.
He sees if the soup is hot. Well, say, Bud, do you think I'd better call Emily Post? I've got about 1,000 questions to ask her.
Oh, no, you don't have to ask Emily Post. Ask any woman, George. If you ask women the right way, you can get the right answer without any trouble.
You can, Bud?
Oh, that's...
Say, George, if Kobina doesn't show up, I know a beautiful society girl that'll go out with you.
You do?
Yeah, but first you better call up Gladstone 1131 and see if I'm there.
You're a society girl?
Well, sure. It takes 4 maids to help me with my milk shower.
Your milk shower?
Well, sure.
You take milk showers?
Every day.
What's the 4 maids for?
To hold the cow over the tub.
Look, Gracie, you don't have to worry.
Yes.
Yes. Who are you?
I'm left over from the commercial.
Well, everything happens to me. Everything. Oh, here she is now. Don't forget, everybody. On your toes. Come in. Well, it's Kobina Wright Jr. How are you, Kobina? I'm so glad to see you.
Fine, George, and I'm very glad to see you.
Well, look, George, she talks with her mouth open. You told me society girls only talk like this.
Quiet. Gracie, this is Kobina Wright.
Now, George, don't forget Junior.
No, I want to meet him, too.
And, Kobina, this is Artie Shaw, our musical director.
How do you do?
Miss Wright, this is a pleasure. The charm of your presence exceeds even the flattering reports that preceded you. Boy, am I corny.
You can say that again, brother.
Kobina, you'll have to forgive Mr. Shaw. You see, as the saying goes, he's a little bit off the cob.
Oh, look who's talking.
Oh, she's got a wonderful sense of humor.
Say, Kobina, I thought you lived in New York.
Well, I do. You see, my being here is purely an accident.
Well, so is mine. My mother expected a boy.
Gracie, careful.
You see, Gracie, I can't stay still. I've got wanderlust.
Oh, that must be awful. Is it anything like the measles?
No, Gracie. Wanderlust means moving from place to place.
Oh, that's the measles, all right. You know, my brother got them in Texas, and the next day they were south of the border.
Gracie, Kobina means she travels.
Oh, like my uncle. Well, for instance, he winters in Palm Beach and summers in Newport.
Oh, really? And where does he fall?
On his face. And how's your uncle?
Kobina, don't you think we ought to go? Yes. Bud, this is Kobina Wright, Jr.
Kobina Wright, Jr.? Well, gee, Miss Wright, I've seen your picture in all the papers and magazines.
Why, thanks, Bud.
Now, there's one thing I'd like to ask you.
Well, what's that, Bud?
Do you really wash your things in Lux?
Why, Bud!
Yes, Bud.
Well, Kobina, I just don't know what to say.
Oh, don't apologize for anything, George. This is the most fun I've had in months. I'm so tired of going out with all these well-groomed, good-looking society men who spend so much money on you, who have such good education and fine manners, and it's a pleasure to be with you.
Why, Kobina?
Oh, please, Kobina, you're turning George's head. And if you turn it any more, he'll have to stand behind his back to shave himself. You follow me, George?
Yes, I follow you.
Well, you better stop or I'll call the cops.
All right, I've stopped.
George, what I said may not have sounded right, but what I meant was, I like a man I can make something of, a man I can mold.
Well, then, George is your man because you'll find him very moldy, and
Never
I
mind. Gracie, I wish you'd be quiet. This girl means something to me. Well, come on, Kobina.
Hey, Senor Burns,
What is it, Senor Lee?
I would like to go out with that Carbona.
Carbona?
See, she's really from society. She's a member of the 300.
400.
3 1/4.
400.
350.
400.
I'll take her, but you drive a hard bargain.
Well, come on, Kobina, let's go.
Hey, wait a minute. Kobina, is this on the level? After going out with fellas like the Vanderbilts, how can you go out with George?
Now, listen here, Mr. Shaw. What has Cornelius Vanderbilt got that George hasn't got? He's got wit, he's got charm, he's good company. And what's more, I'm definitely going out with him tonight.
George?
No, Cornelius Vanderbilt. Good night.
Well, Artie, you fixed it. That was a lot of wise cracks.
Yeah, with all those wise cracks.
Yes, all those silly things.
Yeah.
And, Gracie, don't you start again and don't help me with all this talk.
Yeah, Artie, we've
I've
had enough
listened to you for
you.
years.
Artie, you've got
Now,
a
let
lot of
me
nerve.
tell you
It's fellas
something.
like you that make
Okay,
fellas like
all
you.
right.
Join us next week, same time, same station, for another Burns and Allen show with Artie Shaw and his orchestra and the Smoothies. From Hollywood, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show.
George and Gracie. George Burns and Gracie Allen on the show and his orchestra, singing glee with the Smoothies 3. Last but not least, and with Bud Heaston.
are, George and Gracie.
Thank you. Well, Gracie, here it is Monday night again. Doesn't time fly?
Fine, thank you. And how are you?
Wait a minute, Gracie. What are you doing?
I'm knitting.
Yeah, but what are you knitting?
Oh, something. I love to knit. I'd rather knit than not.
You'd rather knit than not?
Yeah, and then again, there are some people who'd rather not be knitting than be knitting nothing.
Yeah, but what is this thing you're making?
Oh, a little thing for my brother Willie. He's the one who's at March Field. He's in the Army, you know.
Yes, I know he's in the Army, but what is it?
It's just like the Navy, but without water.
Well, thanks very much.
Well, can I believe my eyes? Is that George Burns in a new suit, new shoes, and spats?
Yes, it happens to be George Burns.
Burnsy, it isn't because of that society deb, Kobina Wright Jr., who was up here last week, is it?
No, it isn't.
Well, there are only two reasons to be dressed that way. You're either in love or an end man in a minstrel show.
Look, Artie, I'd just as soon you stick to your music.
Yeah, Artie, you've got a lot of nerve making fun of George's clothes.
Oh, he's just sensitive.
Well, you'd be sensitive, too, if you looked as bad as George does.
Now, you stay out of this.
Yeah, Artie, you heard him. Stay out of this.
Are you cracked?
Cracked? Cracked? Wait a minute, I'll ask him. George, are you cracked?
I must be going out of my mind.
Well, George, don't admit it. Make him prove it.
Oh, quiet. How did this thing start?
Well, don't you remember you asked me what I was doing, and I said I was knitting nutting.
Ah, yes, for your brother Willie.
Yeah, he's in the Army, you know.
I know.
Oh, I love to knit. I do a lot of knitting. I'll never forget I knitted a bathing suit for my uncle, and I made it out of spinach, and Uncle looked so nice in it, he said...
Just a minute. You knitted a bathing suit out of spinach?
Well, yeah, and that way he doesn't have to go to the beach to lie around in the sand.
Say, Gracie, is there anything that's impossible for you to do?
No, but when the thing's impossible, it's harder for me.
Look, are you trying to make me an imbecile?
No, I'm making the sweater, but when I'm finished, I'll be glad to make you one.
How do I get into these things?
Oh, easy. They just button up the front.
Oh, quiet.
Oh, say, hey, George, look, your underwear is hanging over your shoes.
Bud, that happens to be spats.
Spats?
Yeah.
Oh, now, Bud, don't do what Artie did. Don't say that he got dressed up on account of Kobina, because that's how they got into a big fight.
Really?
It wasn't Artie. It was on account of you.
Now, please, George, how can you say that to Bud? He wasn't even here when it happened.
All right, so I've got on spats, and I'm wearing a new suit, and I like it.
Well, gee, George, we all like it. Why, that suit makes you look very athletic.
George, I can't knit. You're tangling my wool.
Oh, pardon me.
Ahora que están hablando de la sociedad, ¿por qué no me preguntan? Yo sé mucho de
Yes,
estas
I
cosas,
know.
nada más que no me
That's the
preguntan.
guitar player. Senor Lee, what is it?
Senor Burns, that society girl who came here last week, her family came over on the cauliflower?
It's Mayflower. Cauliflower is, well, what is it that has a head like a cabbage, only it's a little softer?
Does it wear spats?
You know, it's a lucky thing for you people that I can hold my temper.
Oh, good, George. And you can hold my knitting, too.
Look, I don't want to hold your knitting.
Well, then how can I read my brother Willie's letter?
And I don't want to hear your brother Willie's letter.
Well, then you hold the knitting and I'll read the letter.
Yeah, that's much better, I guess.
Dear Gracie, I can't thank you enough, Gracie, for the lovely toupee you sent me. It'll come in very handy if I ever get bald.
Gracie, if he isn't bald, why did you send him the toupee?
Please, Judge. Don't talk while I'm interrupting.
Oh.
And, Gracie, will you tell Daddy it was a swell idea to have my name tattooed on my chest, as it saves me a lot of talk. Now when a sentry stops me and says, "Who goes there?" all I have to do is unbutton my shirt and show him. And, Gracie, I hate to
Just
complain.
a minute. Gracie, your brother must have been born insipid.
No, in San Francisco.
Oh, well, I'm wrong, I guess.
And, Gracie, I hate to complain, but I'm very disappointed in my Army gas mask. It doesn't relieve me half as much as Broma Seltzer.
Well, look, I'd just as soon not hear anymore.
Brigadier General Lachlan has been teaching us camouflage, and it's really a wonderful thing. I've been camouflaging myself as a rifle, and for 2 days my tent mate has carried me everywhere on his shoulder. Please.
Probably didn't know the kid was loaded.
Oh, George, please.
I wish you'd laugh long. That's all I've got.
George, please. More letter. It's fun being carried about, but it gets tiresome having my throat cleaned every day with a ramrod.
Had his throat cleaned with a ramrod?
Well, we'll have to close now and help the top sergeant hunt for his overcoat. By the way, did it reach you safely? Signed, Willie.
That's all I want.
George, look, there's nobody listening, and I noticed that you're all dressed up. So between you and my brother Willie's sweater...
Yes?
Is Kobina wearing your fraternity pin while you're wearing her spats?
Gracie, I'm going to settle this once and for all. The reason I'm dressed up is that I was invited to a private showing at an art gallery. Is that so terrible?
Oh, no. Did you have a nice time?
Well, it was really wonderful. I saw all the masterpieces, and while I'm no critic, I don't think anybody can touch Rembrandt's paintings.
Why, aren't they dry yet?
Yeah, they're still wet. Anyway, I looked in one room, and there was Whistler's mother and the blue boy.
Oh, please, Judge. I'm not interested in scandal.
Scandal? Whistler was a painter.
Well, I wouldn't care if he were a plumber. You've got no right to talk about his mother.
Gracie, you don't understand. I'm talking about James Abbott McNeil Whistler. He painted his mother.
Oh, sort of a beauty operator.
Yes, a beauty operator.
Well,
Has a place in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Doing very well.
Yeah, I know.
Making lots of money there.
Yeah. Well, I always say if the shoe fits, wear it. And if it's your mother, paint her.
That's what you always say.
Hey, what are you two cooking up here?
Oh, did you hear? George went to the art gallery with Rembrandt.
Quiet, Gracie.
Going around with Rembrandt, huh? Did Kobina Wright give you the air?
Stop with those wise
Oh, don't be so sensitive.
Well, George has a right to be sensitive. If you looked as fat as George does, you'd be sensitive.
Wait a minute. Don't start that again.
Yeah, Artie, don't start that again.
Oh, quiet. Yes, Mr. Shaw, I went to the art gallery. I saw the works of Rembrandt, Michelangelo, Ginsberg, Da Vinci.
Ginsberg? Who's that?
Who's that? Happens to be one of the world's greatest painters. And he'll be remembered long after you and Frenesy are forgotten.
Aw, gee, George, you must be pretty smart to know about Ginsberg. And, Bud, did you hear George tell how Whistler painted his mother and that George saw her the day before yesterday with Mrs. Blue Boy's son and nobody could touch them because they weren't dry?
Bud, did you understand what Gracie said?
Well, certainly, George. How Whistler painted his mother and that you saw her the day before yesterday with Mrs. Blue Boy's son, but nobody could touch them because they weren't dry.
Bud, that doesn't make sense.
It does, too.
It does not.
Oh, please.
Senor Burns, you're right about the Mayflower. I looked it up in the dictionary.
It isn't dictionary, it's dictionary. A duck is a silly-looking thing with flat feet.
Does it wear spots?
Look, can't you ever get one word right?
In a short while, I will speak better. I am taking a course from the International Correspondence University.
I see you.
Peekaboo, I see you too.
Look, if you people don't stop, I'm going to walk out of here.
Oh,
Believe me, I'll never come back.
George, don't get so excited.
I've got a right to be excited.
Well, don't get excited. It's bad for your health. And the blood might rush up to your head, and the first thing you know, you'll see spats in front of your eyes.
Stop talking about spats.
Can I talk about Rembrandt?
Yes, you can talk about Rembrandt.
Has he got spats?
He's been dead for 500 years.
Are those his spats?
Look, I got dressed up. I went to the art gallery. I happen to love things that are arty.
Oh, thanks, George. I love you, too.
I had to bring that up.
You did? I didn't know you were Artie's father.
I didn't mean that.
Mr. Burns, if you'll allow a sound man to interrupt.
Yes, what is it, 4 years at Harvard?
How can you dare talk about art without mentioning the greatest work of all, the Mona Lisa?
Oh, I've seen that, and it's really a pip.
A pip? A masterpiece.
Well, I'm sorry.
In her smile, Da Vinci caught the enigma.
Well, maybe he slept with his window open.
Please.
What depth, what beauty. Do you know why the Mona Lisa is smiling?
Well, maybe while she was being painted, the brush tickled her.
Sound man, do you know why she's smiling?
Yes. Being a student of the arts, I can tell what goes on in anybody's mind by the expression on his face.
But I'm still not convinced. What's Artie Shaw thinking of?
He's thinking of the same thing that I am. Who is Ginsberg?
He's a great painter.
Well, I can do that. I can read mine.
You can?
Well, yeah, I'll try it with Bud. Here, Judge, hold my knitting. Come here, Bud.
Well, all right, Gracie.
Now, Bud, concentrate. Close your eyes. Very close. All right.
Whew. Well, Gracie, that wasn't on my mind.
Oh, isn't that silly? I read my own mind.
Look, sound man, what am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Kobina Wright, Jr.
Look, I told you a million times I have no interest in Kobina Wright, Jr. She was here last week, and that was the finish. I've never even tried to get in touch with her.
Well, why don't you send her some orchids?
I don't send girls orchids.
Well, why don't you send her some daisies?
I don't send girls flowers.
How about a package of seeds?
Look, I don't send girls anything. Only a chump buys flowers and things like that for girls. What do you think I am, a clarinet player?
I can't do it, kids. No, please. Really, no.
Say, what's going on there?
Well, George, Charlie of the Smoothies here wants me to sing a song they wrote.
Well, do me a favor, Bud. Get me out of this and sing the song. Do
Oh,
anything.
all right.
Please.
George.
Yes?
I just finished my brother Willie's sweater. Look.
Gracie, am I seeing things? Has that sweater got 4 sleeves?
Oh, well, I hope that's enough.
Well, what is your brother, an octopus?
No, just a private.
Well, why does he need a sweater with 4 sleeves?
Well, that's what it said in the paper. Congress okays new equipment, and by next week the boys will have additional arms.
Well, if I were you, I'd add a few more sleeves.
Oh, you think so?
Come in. Why, Kobina.
Well, look, everybody, it's Kobina Wright, Jr.
Why, Kobina, this is a surprise.
Well, George, I'm sorry to intrude now, but I simply had to see you. I just can't accept this mink coat you sent me this morning.
A mink coat?
A mink coat?
Oh, well, Kobina, that couldn't be from George. He said he wouldn't even give you a package of seeds.
Please. Kobina, let me explain about the mink coat, you see. You're taking it the wrong way.
Well, why don't you take it like my sister Bessie does? She just goes to the Brown Derby, buys a cup of coffee, and takes a mink coat.
You see, Kobina, I gave you that mink coat just as a token of our friendship.
But I wanted it to be platonic.
Well, platonic is pretty, but personally, I'd rather have mink or sable or silver fox or caracal.
How about Fitch?
I don't like fish.
Good.
Bones get stuck in my throat.
Oh, I hope.
Oh, please don't be offended, George. I don't want you to think I'm a prude.
I don't like prudes either.
Good.
The wrinkles get stuck in my
Oh,
throat.
quiet. After all, Kobina.
But don't feel too badly, George, because I will keep that nice quart bottle of perfume you sent me.
He sent you a quart of perfume?
Yes, and it's beautiful. It's the first time I ever saw Christmas night come in a seltzer bottle.
Well, you see, Kobina, I thought it would be handy in case you didn't have an atomizer. Could sort of...
Sounded like Senor Lee.
Well, figured I couldn't get a laugh the other way.
A quart bottle of perfume and a mink coat, huh? Brother, I quit.
Why?
One clarinet player on this program's enough.
Now, Kobina, I think you're very selfish not to accept that mink coat. You're not only making George very unhappy, but all the other little minks, too.
Look, Gracie.
After all, it took 250 minks to make that coat. And if you throw them all out of work, George will have to support them. He's already got a lot of relatives.
Gracie,
So I always say...
Look, Gracie, how can you talk so much and say so little?
Well, that's because I don't open my mouth when I
Oh,
talk.
quiet,
You think George
quiet,
likes
quiet.
And, George, weren't you going to extremes when you put that envelope in the coat pocket saying, enclosed find $100 for alterations?
Well, I don't know what to say,
I could never accept that.
but Kobina...
Here's $50.
$50, Kobina.
I'm sorry, George. That's all there was in the envelope.
Well, you see, it was dark, and I wrote the note in a phone booth.
Well, Kobina, I think you're silly not to accept George's offer. Why don't you accept George, too? George and Alfred Vanderbilt are exactly alike.
Well, you certainly went by the way of Syracuse for that. Alfred Vanderbilt and I are exactly alike?
Well, of course, he has blue blood in his veins. And yours is more like a greenish blue, more like a brown sort of...
White.
Yeah, white blood.
Yes, I thought so. But outside of that, we're exactly alike. Gracie, stop helping me.
There's one thing I don't like about Vanderbilt. He wears spats.
Oh, well, then they're exactly alike.
Gracie, thanks for the help,
Say, Kobina, I wouldn't be so hard on George. You know, you have no idea what he's gone through for you. Why, he even went through an art gallery.
Listen, Bud.
Yeah, Bud, and he even saw a blue boy while he was still wet.
Yeah. That's right, and he knows all about that great painter, Ginsberg.
All right, ignoramus. I'm glad you mentioned that. Kobina, wasn't that masterpiece that you pointed out to me painted by Ginsberg?
Ginsberg? That's Gainsborough.
Well, I was probably thinking of that old vaudeville act, The Three Painting Ginsbergs. They used to make pictures with sand. No, very well. They were handled by Tom Fitzpatrick, a great actor.
Hey, Carbona. You're making a mistake not taking that minky.
Oh, please, senor. It's not Minky, it's Monkey, aren't you, George?
Stop helping me. And, Kobina, won't you please accept this coat?
No, George, I couldn't. And now I've got to get back to 20th Century Fox. And for being such a dear, here's a kiss.
Well, come on, Kobina. I'll see you to the elevator.
Now, don't forget the party next week.
I won't forget.
Hey, Rembrandt, so you don't send girls flowers, huh? You just send them seeds.
Say, George, I know where there's a sale and you can get a dozen mink coats for $50,000.
Yeah, with $100 bills in the pockets.
You boys all finished?
Yeah, that's right.
Was I invited to the party? Yes. Did I get a kiss? Yes. Did she take the coat? No. Look, wise guys, this happens to be my own little system. I take a $5,000 mink coat on approval, and it always works out like this. You see, no girl like Kobina would ever accept it. That makes me a big shot. So you see, Kobina...
George, I've got some wonderful news for you. I've talked to Kobina, and what do you think?
What?
She's accepting the coat. Here, Kobina.
Oh.
Somebody pick up George.
Well, Gracie, say goodnight.
Well, good night. So we're going to Kobina's party next week, huh?
Yes, I know I'm going. I've got to get that coat back. It's on approval.
No, it's not. It's on Kobina.
It is. Good night.
George Burns, Gracie Allen, on the show and his orchestra, for singing glee with a smooth East Street. Last but not least, with Bud Heaston.
And now, Gracie Allen and George Mink Coat Burns.
Thank you. And, Bud, you can stop being such a comic, and that goes for everybody here. I don't want to hear any more about the mink coat I gave away last week.
All right, let's stop talking about it.
Good.
You mean the one you gave Kobina Wright Jr.?
Yes, and I don't want to talk about it.
About what?
The mink coat I gave Kobina Wright Jr.
And why do you keep bringing it up?
I didn't bring it up. You're to blame for the whole thing. I didn't expect it to accept the coat. I merely wanted to think that I was a big shot, and what happened? You had to talk her into it.
Oh, well, that's all right, George. You can do something for me sometime.
Gracie, you don't understand. Did anybody ever invite you out to dinner knowing that you couldn't accept?
Saturday night.
Good.
The food was delicious.
No, did any fella ever say to you, Gracie, let's go out on the balcony and look at the moon, knowing all the time that there was no moon?
Yeah, some smart aleck tried that on me once, and boy, did I fall.
No moon, huh?
No balcony.
Well, whether you understand it or not, that was a $5,000 coat, and I've got to get it back.
George, there's no use crying over spilt mink.
spilt mink?
Yeah.
That's right, George. Kobina Wright Jr. was nice enough to invite us all to her party tonight. If you're going to mope about losing $5,000, you're going to spoil our whole evening.
Spoil your whole evening?
Well, George always does that. Just 2 weeks ago, we were invited to a lawn party, and George was the only one who came without a lawnmower. And
Gracie, just a minute. That's another thing I just as soon forget.
Going into a swimming pool with a tuxedo on.
Going in? I was pushed in.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I did it.
You did it?
Yeah, you aren't even a good sport, staying at the bottom of the pool sulking.
Sulking? I was drowning.
Well, that's even worse. Why show off? Nobody else was doing it.
Gracie, I can't swim.
So what? Why stay at the bottom of the pool? That's nothing to be ashamed at.
Ashamed at?
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, I see what I told you I didn't want to talk about it.
And that language you used down there was shocking.
Gracie, I was at the bottom of the pool. How could you hear what I was saying?
I'm a bubble reader.
Well, this on top of that $5,000 mink coat certainly puts me in a great mood for Kobina Wright's party tonight.
Oh, gee, I can't wait to get there, George. Is Kobina Wright's mother really a leader of the 400?
That's right, Bud.
Well, just think. A real society party. I wonder if it'll be as exciting as it looks in the magazine ads.
Oh, yes, society is more fun than any place.
Yes. What?
Well, imagine eating with real community plate silver.
But right now I'm thinking of something much more important. A certain young lady is wearing it, and it amounts to a neat little figure.
Well, thanks, George, and I didn't even think you noticed my dress.
Your dress is nice, spicy stuff.
Yeah.
Look, you're all talking about parties and clothes. Nobody is interested in the mess I'm in.
I am, George. Of course, the sleeves are too long, but then again, the pants are too short.
But outside of that, I look fine.
Yeah. Now, if you can get somebody just to press it, it'll only bag at the knees. And I always say...
Never mind what
Hello,
you always
George.
say.
Hiya, George. How's the old fur trapper?
Fur trapper?
Yep. Every time you open your trap, you lose a fur.
Look, Frenessy, what should I have given her, a clarinet?
George, were you afraid you'd lose Kobina if you didn't give her a mink coat?
Leave Kobina out of this. I've got lots of girls, and I can keep my women.
Well, I've seen them, brother, and you ain't kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Artie Shaw's band laughing at Artie Shaw's joke. As arranged by Lenny Hayton.
Say, Artie, at Kobina's party tonight, how many dances are you going to have with me?
Well, gee, Gracie, I'm afraid your program will be full.
Oh, well, I never eat so much that I can't dance.
Artie, make up your mind. Are you going to dance or not?
Oh, please, George, I asked him first.
I'm asking for you.
Well, it won't do you any good because I'm dancing with Artie.
Oh, please.
What about it, Artie?
Well, I'd like to, Gracie, but I've got a sore heel.
Well, she can dance with George.
Gracie, don't let him fall flush.
No, I won't. We'll two-step.
Yeah, that's not half the dance the fall flush is.
Bueno, ¿y a mí por qué no me invitaron a la fiesta? ¿Qué no cuento yo aquí o qué pasa, hombre? Yo también sé
We're
de
back
esa-
in Mexico
¿verdad?
again. That's the guitar player. What is it, Senor Lee?
I wasn't invited to the party tonight, and I'm an insult.
Well, that's an outrage. Senor Lee, if I were you and didn't get an invitation, I wouldn't accept it.
Am I hearing right?
Don't worry. I'll get in by Hickory Creek.
You mean you'll get in by hook or crook?
You get in your way, and I'll get in my way.
Well, look, Senor Lee, do what I do. I've got a great system for getting into parties. I go to the door, and I ring the bell, and I say to the butler, I want to see somebody inside. And he says, who? And I say, me.
But, Gracie, that system could never work.
I know, but that's the only thing wrong with it.
Yes, do that, Senor.
I know how to get in. I'll disguise myself as a foreigner.
A foreigner?
Si, senor. I'll make out I'm a duke.
A duke?
Si.
What does a duke say?
Quack, quack, quack.
What a duke says. Well, I've had enough. I'm only interested in one thing. I want to get back my mink coat.
Well, if you want to get it back, why don't you get to the party? You just ask Kobina a riddle.
Want to start that again?
Oh, you don't hear very well, huh?
Well, let's see. What did you say?
Ah, said, if you want to get it back, when you get to the party, just ask Kobina a riddle.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
A riddle?
Yeah. You say, Kobina, what's the difference between a mink coat and a cup of coffee?
Yes.
And she'll say, I don't know. As long as she doesn't know, you give her a cup of coffee and take the mink coat. So very simple.
Well, when we get to the party, I'm going to get that mink coat back. I'll just tell her the truth. Well, come on, everybody. Let's go. Where's Gracie?
Oh, well, right there, George. Oh, isn't it a scream? Look what my brother Willie says in his letter.
We haven't got time to listen to your brother Willie's letter.
Oh, he's in the army, you know.
I know he's in the army, but we're on our way to a party.
Oh, good. Well, then I'll read the letter at the party.
All right, read it at the party.
Yeah, I will.
Yes.
Dear Gracie.
Look, Gracie, we haven't got time.
Well, it won't take long. Willie writes very fast.
Oh, fast writer.
Yes. Dear Gracie.
Writes a very quick hand.
Yes. Dear Gracie, period, comma, question mark, exclamation point, hyphen, apostrophe, semicolon, colon, dash.
Well, what's all that for?
Well, Willie doesn't know how to punctuate, so he puts it all at the top, and then I fit it in where it belongs. Dear Gracie.
That's a very smart letter. Well, look, Gracie, let's get to the party.
Dear Gracie, you notice that I'm not at Fort Rosencrantz anymore. Lieutenant Ward transferred me to Camp Ord because it's easier to spell.
Well, that's nice.
And yesterday...
Ord is easier than Rosencrantz.
And yesterday, during a sham battle, I captured a light armored tank.
Yes.
And it bit off 2 of my fingers before I discovered it was a snapping turtle.
Gracie, your brother must be a first-class dope.
He is. But he'd rather be a cougher.
I see what you mean, yes.
Gracie, I don't want to offend Bessie, but ask her to stop sending me those chocolate-covered mothballs.
Just a second. Your sister Bessie sent him chocolate-covered mothballs?
Yeah, isn't that silly? And she knows he likes them covered with caramel.
Oh, yes.
And Gracie, I've been eating a lot of macaroni and donuts, and it gave me asthma and hiccups, so I was transferred to the Fife and Drum Corps. Signed, Willie.
Look, I'm glad it's over. Come on, everybody. Let's get to the party.
P.S.
Oh, some more.
By the way, Gracie, I sent you the top sergeant's right shoe. Will you have Daddy try it on for size before I send you the other one?
Is the letter finished now?
Yes.
Well, let's get started.
Yeah, gee, I hope we have a nice time at the party. I hope those society people don't rich us and give us the pork shoulder.
Look, Bud, don't be so self-conscious. I wasn't invited until the last minute.
Well, now, come on, boys, let's go. See, who'll I go with? Bud, have you got a car?
No?
Gracie, I've got a car.
Artie, have you got a car?
Nope.
Gracie, I've got a car.
Well, come on, boys, we walk.
Well, let's go, everybody. Goodbye, Senor Lee.
Oh, you'll see me. I'll be there. I'll get in by Hickory Creek.
Oh, yes, you will.
I'll disguise myself like Dr. Kildare. They'll open the door and say, hiya, Doc.
And what will the doc say?
Quack, quack, quack.
Okay, I'll see you there by Hickory Creek. Come on. Well, wait a minute. There's somebody at the door. Come in.
Mr. Burns, remember me. I'm Mr. Randall, the Fourier. I let you have that mink coat on approval last week. You wanted it for 5 days, and it's now 7, so I thought I'd drop in either for the check or for the coat.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Burns isn't here, are you, Judge?
Quiet, Mr. Randall, will you just give me a few more days? Gladly.
Well, I don't think George will need a few days. With the system I've got, he'll be able to get the coat back tonight, even if he has to steal it.
What did you say?
Steal it.
Steal it!
Now, Randall, don't get excited.
Don't get excited. I've got a right to get excited. You got $5,000 worth of fur off of me.
Oh, I don't know. What did he use, an electric razor?
Randall, I'm not going to steal your coat.
No, Mr. Randall, George doesn't have to steal coats.
No.
No, he just gets them on approval and doesn't pay for them, like a gentleman.
Look, Artie, stop helping me.
Yeah, Artie, if George wants someone to talk like a numbskull, he can do it himself.
Look, Mr. Randall, will you wait here? I'm going to a party at Kobina Wright's, and I'll get the mink coat and bring it right back.
Well, all right.
Now, well, you don't have to worry, Mr. Randall. You'll get that coat, and we have to bring it back a sleeve at a time.
A sleeve at a time?
Yes.
Mr. Burns, I'm going to that party with you. I'm not taking any chances.
Well, Gracie, you've got things balled up nicely.
Oh, it was nothing, George. You could have done the same thing yourself if you tried.
Oh, will you stop?
Hey, Senor Burns, if this man goes to the party, then I can go too. I'm a furrier.
You're a furrier?
Sure, I'm a furrier. I haven't even taken out my first papers.
Oh, 40, I see what you mean, yes.
But don't worry, I'll get in by
I
3:03.
trick, I know. Randall, I can't take you to this party. How can I take a foreigner to a society party?
Well,
You give up?
well...
Oh, I know a way.
I thought so.
We'll introduce him as Reginald Worthington Schuyler Bullock IV.
Look, that's too long a name, and it sounds exaggerated.
Well, then we'll call him Reginald Worthington Schuyler Bullock III.
Well, that's much better and much shorter.
Oh, thanks. George, I'm having a wonderful time at this party. This gentleman here is a wonderful dancer. And we must have the next dance, too.
I'd love to, madam, but I've got to go back and polish the silverware.
Gracie, that man is the butler.
The butler?
Did you notice he was carrying a load of drinks?
Well, you could never tell that he danced like he was perfectly sober.
Well, quiet. Here comes Kobina.
Now, don't forget, George. Just get her alone and tell her the truth. It's bound to work.
It had better work.
Relax, Furry. And don't forget your name is Bullock. No, I'll get her outside alone.
Oh, there you are. You all having a nice time?
Hang on, Kobina.
George, is there anything I can get you?
Yeah, mink coat.
Quiet. Kobina, could I see you alone for
Oh,
a
gee,
minute?
I've never been to such a swell party.
Thanks, Gracie.
See, who's that attractive-looking girl over there with the freckles?
Oh, that's Elizabeth Brown. Her father has millions.
Oh, yeah, he ought to carry a parasol.
Kobina, could I see you alone?
Kobina, is there any way of brushing off that silly dame who's been chasing me? There she is over there.
Mr. Shaw, that happens to be my aunt.
Oh, well, I didn't mean her. I mean the fat one next to her with the bobbed hair.
That's my uncle.
Boy, can he dance.
Kobina, could I see you alone
Hey,
for a
Kobina,
minute?
who's that tall, good-looking fellow standing over there examining the silverware? Oh, it's Bud Easton. You're Bud.
Hey, Gracie, it's real community plate.
Is it?
Gracie, you've tried spam with eggs, haven't you?
Oh, yes, and it's delicious.
Well, try it with real silverware. It's wonderful.
Really?
Look, it isn't polite to yell, Bud.
What?
It isn't polite to yell.
What?
Hey, it ain't polite to yell.
Who is that?
My mother.
Kobina, could I see
Come
you
here, Mother.
alone?
I want you to meet some of my friends. This is George Burns.
Oh, well, how do you do?
George Burns? Why, Kobina, you're wrong. Doesn't look so old.
Old?
Mother, this is Miss Allen.
How do you do, Miss Allen?
You're Miss Allen.
Then who am I?
Mrs. Wright, you'll have to excuse Gracie. She's pretty silly.
Oh, that's nothing. I'm even pretty when I'm not silly.
Well, that's what I mean.
And Mother, this is Artie Shaw.
How do you do?
Hello.
And this is Bud Heaston.
How do you do?
Hello?
And this is a friend of George's. He's a polo player. I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name.
So have I.
Mrs. Wright, he's Mr. Bullock. You know the Bullocks.
Oh, the Bullock family. Oh, certainly. What branch are you?
7th and Broadway.
Well, anyway, it's really a pleasure to be here, Mrs. Wright.
And Mr. Burns, I want to thank you for that adorable little coat you gave Kobina. Do you know it looks like real mink?
It looks like real mink. Do you know how long it takes to make a coat like that?
Bullock.
Do you know that this girl has one of the best skins in Hollywood?
Well, maybe she uses mud packs.
George, why is this Mr. Bullock so interested in my fur coat?
Well, you see, Kobina, he's sort of a collector of furs.
You mean he collects mink?
Either that or the $5,000.
Look, Kobina, could I see you alone for...
Right.
What is it, Jenkins?
There's a very dear friend of Mr. Burns waiting to see him in the library.
What's his name?
I don't know, sir.
What did he say?
Quack, quack, quack.
That's Senor Lee, our guitar player. Mrs. Wright, could you please ask him to go?
I'll see to it right away.
Well, thank you. Kobina, could I see you out in the garden alone?
Why, certainly, George.
Miss Wright, here's your mink coat you rang for.
I didn't ring for it.
Well, somebody did.
Who wants to talk about my brother?
Well, Kobina, would you like to have me take it upstairs?
No, I'll wear it out in the garden.
Oh,
You are going to wear it out in the garden?
Yes, Mr. Bullock.
May I slip these mothballs in the pocket?
Mothballs? I thought he was a polo player.
Well, he is. You see, he plays miniature polo. He uses a very small mallet.
Say, George, you better get that coat back before the styles change.
Well, just leave it to me.
Kobina, dear,
Yes, Mother?
take care of our guests and see that they have a good time. I'm going out.
Why, Mother, you look wonderful with all your jewels on.
Yeah, you're prettier than Hollywood Boulevard.
Quiet.
Mother, who are you going out with, Frank Vanderbilt or Gregory Thorndyke?
Neither one.
Well, then with whom?
Quack, quack, quack.
Kobina, could I see you outside?
George, what's on your mind tonight? Something seems to be troubling you.
Well, sure there's something on his mind. How would you like it if your best friend was a polo player named Bullock and his name turned out to be Randall?
Gracie.
If a thing like that happened to you, Kobina, you'd jump out of your skin. And if you did, I bet George would grab it and Randall would grab George.
Oh, quiet. Look, Kobina, last week you said a nice girl shouldn't accept a coat from a fellow she just met. And I agree with you.
You're so sweet to admit it, George, that I'm going to keep it.
Oh.
Oh, look, Gracie. George fainted. How can we revive him?
Well, just throw a mink coat in his face.
Ladies and gentlemen... Oh, Gracie, say goodnight.
Well, good night.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we leave tonight, and our next broadcast will come from Chicago.
George, you can't leave yet.
Why not? I gave the man the checks for the trunks. I gave him the check for the suitcase.
Yeah, you forgot to give the man the check for the fur coat, if you know what I mean.
Oh, good night. Good night, sir.
From New York, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show with Beatrice Fairfax.
George and Gracie. George Burns, Gracie Allen, on show when it's orchestra, singing glee with the smoothies three. To start the fun, here's Jimmy Wallington.
And now we bring you George Burns, who's fit to be tied because Gracie hasn't arrived yet.
Well, that's fine. We're on the air and no Gracie. Jimmy, have you seen her?
Oh, sure. I've seen them both.
Both?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they've been together every night this week.
Together? Together with whom?
George, you know I'm the last one in the world to start any trouble.
I know, Jimmy.
But I was at the Ritz Cocktail Lounge, and right at the next booth...
Uh-huh.
You know the place where they have those curtains?
Yes.
Well, look, George, for all I know, it may be platonic.
Look, Jimmy, who was Gracie with?
Well, do me a favor, will you? Ask Artie Shaw.
All right, I will. Artie Shaw.
Senor Burns, he hasn't come in yet.
Artie hasn't come in either?
You smell a mice?
Wait a minute. Hey, Jimmy, it can't be that Artie Shaw and Gracie are they together?
Well, George, I've only been with you for 4 weeks. I know from nothing. I'm staying with you the rest of the season.
Well, I'll give that guy a piece of my mind when he gets here.
Fire him. Get rid of him. I know a musician who can play rings around that Shaw. And besides, I'll work cheaper.
Senor Lee, you want to lead the band?
Why not? What's Artie Shaw got that I haven't got? And don't answer that question.
How do you like that? Gracie and Shaw. Cocktail lounge. Booths with curtains. Both late for the show and we're on the air. I wonder where they can be now.
Cab driver.
Yes, miss?
Once more around the park. Oh, isn't it thrilling, Artie? You and I alone in a cab. Just think, we've been together for 34 weeks. And for 33 weeks, you never even looked at me, and I never looked at you. And last week, you looked at me, and I looked at you. And here we are looking at each other. Hello. Artie.
Yes, Gracie.
I'm holding your hand.
I'm holding yours, too.
Oh, I knew someone was holding it, but I didn't know it was you.
Well, it's me.
Artie.
Yes, Gracie.
Now that I'm holding your hand, do you know what I'm thinking of?
What?
Oh, I hate to tell you.
Come on, tell me.
Well, promise you won't look at me when I say this.
All right, I promise.
They're moving the aquarium up to the Bronx.
Now I'm worried about my musicians.
The poor fish. Oh, isn't the park beautiful? Look at those swans over there with those beautiful long necks. If I were a swan, I'd have a long neck, too. I love long necks. Drive her once more around the park.
You know, Gracie, this is wonderful, but we really must get back to the studio.
Oh, there's one thing I want to know, Artie.
What, Gracie?
Artie, I followed your career, and I know I'm not your first love, but there's one thing you've just got to tell me.
What's that?
Well, now that you've held us both in your arms, which one do you like better, me or your clarinet?
Gracie, you'll have to give me a little time on that one.
Artie, do you like home cooking?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, well, when I'm out working, you can be home cooking.
Look, Gracie, it's getting very late.
Oh, and just think how happy we'll be growing old together, the three of us.
The three of us?
Yes, you and I and Frenesy.
Look, Gracie, we'd better get back to the studio before the broadcast is over, and we'd better not walk in at the same time.
Well, I guess you're right. Driver, once more around the park.
Jimmy, try to understand this. The show is pretty near half over, and they're still not here. You said you saw Gracie in a booth at the Ritz.
But I didn't say she was with Artie.
But Artie was there, wasn't he?
But I didn't say he was with Gracie.
But you say that you peeked through the curtains?
Yeah.
Smoothies, will you do me a favor and do your number right now? I'll find those people. I'll call the Ritz Cocktail Bar. That's
Senor Burns, if I were you, I'd fire that Shaw. Why don't you give him 2 weeks' notice, starting last month?
I think I will.
Some nerve, that Shaw. He's taking the wrong altitude.
Altitude?
Si, senor.
Attitude. Altitude means high.
At the cocktail bar, he's drinking milk?
Well, I'll find him. Smoothie, just have your number. Wait, was Artie Shaw and Gracie Allen there? Oh, well, when did they leave? I see. How long were they there?
Hello, everybody.
Gracie.
Hello. Oh, hello, George. Hello, Jimmy. Hello, Artie. George, where's Artie?
Where's Artie?
Oh, now don't tell me he's late. Well, I am surprised.
Look, Gracie.
You know that old saying, the early worm catches the bird. The early bird catches the worm. I had it backwards.
Yes.
Then again, it doesn't make any difference because the worm is the same ends at both ends, isn't it, George?
Yes, it certainly is. Look, where have you been?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
Gracie, where have you been?
Where have I been?
Yes.
Where have I been? Where have I been? George, which reading did you like best?
Gracie, where were you?
Where was I? Well, I wasn't in the music hall.
You weren't?
Oh, I did walk down 57th Street. I was at Milgram's. Yeah, that's where I was. I was at Milgram's. George, that's a beautiful shop. You must buy your clothes there. They've got the most beautiful dresses.
You were, at Milgram's?
Yes, their dresses are simply beautiful.
It's now 7:30, and Milgram's closes at 6 o'clock.
It does?
Hmm.
Oh. Then I must have been locked in. That's where I was. I was locked in.
You were locked in?
Yes.
Well, if you were locked in, how did you get out?
Yeah, how did I get out?
Yes.
I must have gotten out.
Oh, sure.
I'm here.
Hmm.
If I wasn't here, I'd be locked in. And I'm not locked in, so I must have gotten
You
out.
must have gotten out, yes.
I rang the burglar alarm. That's what I did. I rang the burglar alarm.
You rang the burglar alarm?
Yeah, and the burglar came down and let me out.
The burglar alarm! watch out, huh?
You don't believe it, huh?
No.
Didn't sound good to me either. Would you believe it if I said Bergdorfman?
No.
Macy's basement?
Gracie, I want the truth.
Oh. Well, as long as you're going to be stubborn about it, I was with a sick friend.
With a sick friend?
Yeah, and if you don't believe this one, I've only got one more.
What's the name of the sick friend?
Well, I don't know. He was too sick to tell me. He had pneumonia.
Had pneumonia?
Double pneumonia.
Double pneumonia?
Well, it wasn't exactly double pneumonia. It was sort of a single pneumonia.
Single pneumonia,
more
yeah.
like a three-quarter pneumonia.
Three-quarters pneumonia.
Had a cold.
Yeah, had a cold.
It wasn't exactly a cold. He sneezed.
Sneezed, yeah.
Just sneezed once.
Sneezed once.
So he sneezed just once.
Just once he sneezed,
Matter
yeah.
of fact, he was never even sick.
What?
The healthiest man in the world. He's strong as a bull.
Strong as a bull?
We'll play Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child.
Wait a minute. Hey, stop the music. What was that? Hey, that clarinet. Oh, so you sneaked in, huh? Come here, Shaw.
Yes, Mr. Burns.
Now, you can stop with that yes, Mr. Burns stuff. Do you happen to know that we've been on the air for 20 minutes?
Yeah, I heard it, George, and it was really a killer. You were never funnier in your life. Okay, fellas, here we go.
Wait a minute with that one, too.
Why, Artie, sure, I'm ashamed of you. Well, the only thing that could make anyone this late to a broadcast would be a cyclone or a tornado, or else you met a very beautiful girl. Hello.
Hello.
Quiet. Artie, where have you been?
Well, I sat up with a sick friend.
A sick friend?
Artie, that won't work, and the one about Milgram is dead, too.
Artie, what really went on behind those little curtains?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, stop it. Hello, stop it. Artie, what went on?
Well, look, Gracie read me one of her brother Willie's letters. Didn't you, Gracie?
I did? Oh, the letter. My brother's letter, Willie's letter. Oh, you see, I get so many letters, I didn't know which brother you meant. He's the one in the army, you know.
I know.
He's my brother, you know.
I know that. He's at Fort Dix, New Jersey.
No, Fort Myers, Florida.
Fort Myers. Susie, what's that got to do with this?
Me like a dog.
He treats you like a dog?
Yes. He holds me on his lap and he pets me.
Gracie, will you stop? Everybody is beginning to think that your head is full of silly romances.
Yeah, well, don't believe it, George. There's nothing in it.
You're telling me. Oh, somebody, come in.
Good evening. I'm Beatrice Fairfax.
Beatrice Fairfax? Who writes
the flu. Signed, Gracie, Anonymous, Allen.
Gracie, Anonymous, Allen. Gracie, what's happened to you?
Well, I don't know, George, but ever since I've been in New York, I'm beside myself. All day long, I'm beside myself. I go in the phone booth and I'm beside myself. It's pretty crowded in a phone booth beside yourself.
Well, that's fine.
Miss Fairfax, have you ever been beside yourself?
Quiet.
I think Miss Allen's been bitten by the love bug.
Oh, no. He only holds my hand and bites the clarinet. Wow.
Hello.
Senorita Fairfax, I have a sweetheart. You give advice to the love-worn?
Love-worn? It's lovelorn. Worn means something very old, tired, ready to be thrown away.
Oh, you know Dolores.
Miss Fairfax, that gives you an idea of what I have to put up with.
Oh, yes, Judge. Doesn't he say silly things?
Yeah, and you're all right. You're fine.
Well, you see, love is a strange thing that brings people together and then suddenly knocks them off their feet.
Oh, like the subway, huh?
Yeah, just like the subway. That's what she means.
You know, Miss Fairfax, your work must be so interesting. I'm surprised you don't take it up.
Yeah, she'll start any minute.
Well, as a matter of fact, it is fascinating. Of course, my correspondence is tremendous.
Well, a little exercise will take that off. My sister Betsy had tremendous correspondence, but she likes potatoes, you know.
She doesn't mean that.
What I mean, Miss Allen, is that I get up every morning at 6 a.m. and start pounding my typewriter.
Oh, well, I know just how you feel. You know, I'm in a nasty mood myself early in the morning. As a matter of fact, I do a little writing, too. I just finished an article for Liberty, and it'll be on the newsstands tomorrow. It's called How to Get Rich Quick. And it's great for people who have only a half an hour for lunch.
You see, Miss Fairfax, nothing phases that great brain.
No, me either.
Yes.
There is a subject you can give me advice on. I always wanted to get rich.
Oh, well, there's really nothing to it. Now take Jimmy Wallington or take Artie Shaw. No, Artie's already taken. You better take Jimmy Wallington.
Jimmy Wallington?
Yes, Jimmy Wallington. He's that tall fellow who sells Spam in our program. Oh, and by the way, Spam is pork shoulder with ham meat added, and you must try it. It's simply delicious.
Is Jimmy Wallington a millionaire?
No, but he's got a mustache.
She means has he got millions?
Oh, no, only one mustache.
Only one mustache,
yes.
That's what I meant, yes.
But isn't it cute? Oh, Jimmy, turn around.
How do you do, Miss Fairfax?
Say, it is cute.
Yes, it's a little dull.
Well, I've got to run along now.
Oh, no, wait, Miss Fairfax. Now I want you to meet something that is really something. But before you meet him, you must promise me one thing, that you won't talk for 5 minutes, that you'll just stand there and look at him. Artie, come here. There he is. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, Artie, stand up straight. Now, smile for Miss Fairfax. Now, Artie, turn sideways so she can see your profile. Now, Miss Fairfax, feel his muscle.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Now, go on. Feel his muscle, Miss Fairfax. Now, Artie, throw your head back. Now, Artie, just a little more. Miss Fairfax, isn't he pretty?
George, you can't talk that way to Gracie.
Yeah, well, that goes for you, too.
And you can't talk that way to Artie.
That's right, I'm going.
No, wait for me, baby. Goodbye, George.
Goodbye, George.
Wait a minute. Where are you two going?
Once more around the park.
Once more around the park. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Gracie, I thought you left with Artie.
Well, I came back to get some cab fare. Hello.
Hello. Good night, all.
From New York, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show.
George and Gracie. George Burns, Gracie Allen, on the show and his orchestra, the singing glee with the smoothies three. To start the fun, here's Jimmy Wallington.
Now we bring you George and Gracie.
Thank you very, very much.
1st of August, in the middle of July, the afternoon was wet and the morning was dry.
Gracie, you're in a very, very gay mood tonight.
Gay mood? Well, sure, I'm in a gay mood. Everybody's in a gay mood today. Today's the day.
Today's the day.
St. Patrick's Day.
I see.
Most wonderful day in the year, and I'm not saying that because I'm Irish.
Oh, no.
Of course, I'm only Irish on my mother and father's side.
I say. Only on your mother and father's side.
Yeah, and that goes for them, too.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Oh, I can just see my uncle tonight with his top hat and his frock coat looking into the mirror to see if his black eye is on straight. Was on that 31st of August
in the middle of July. I'll bet your family was in good spirits tonight.
Oh, and vice versa. Oh, and George. George, I marched in the Fifth Avenue Parade today. It was the St. Patrick's Day Parade, you know.
I know, I was born in New York. I've seen those parades.
Boy, what excitement.
Every year you have those parades.
Yeah, what excitement,
Born
what
here,
music,
you know,
what
yes.
glamour, what bargains at Bergdorf Goodman's window, what crowd.
Wait a minute. Bergdorf Goodman's window?
Yeah, what
Even the parade didn't stop you from window shopping?
Oh, no. Oh, and this is kind of cute, George. A floor walker was peeking out of the window, and he was flirting with me.
Flirting with you?
Uh-huh. Well, I sort of looked at him, and he winked back at me. And,
he winked back at you?
Yes.
I see.
And, you know, he looked
You didn't wink at him first?
No.
Did you ever wank at anybody?
No. No, he just looked at me, and... you know who he looks like? He looks like that movie star with a big mouth, you know, Joey Green. He was sort of tall.
Joey Green?
Yes, he was sort of
Gracie,
tall.
it's Joey Brown.
Not on St. Patrick's Day.
It was on the 31st of August in the middle of July. So you were in the parade today, huh?
Oh, yes. And it stopped at 57th Street, and we had a 2-hour demonstration.
A 2-hour demonstration?
Yes. There was a traffic light there, and every time it turned green, we cheered.
I see what you mean, yes.
And every time it turned red, we booed.
You
We
booed?
had more
Gracie,
fun.
I'll bet there must have been a lot of booze.
Oh, no booze. Nobody was drinking. It was on the
31st of August in the middle of July. Oh, no booze. Oh, stop, Gracie. I'm getting so hoarse I can hardly talk above a whiskey.
Yeah. Oh, just imagine, George.
Do you Hennessy what I mean?
George, just imagine.
That's a three-star joke.
Just
Got
imagine.
another joke later that I use for Chaser.
George, just imagine. Little me of all people leading such a big parade. 80,000 Irishmen following me. 79,000 were policemen.
I see what you mean.
There was I with the baton in my left hand.
Gracie, in the first place, I don't believe you were leading the parade.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Well, I wasn't exactly leading the parade. I was sort of up in front, more like in the middle.
Oh, in the middle.
Well, more towards the end, sort of like last.
Like last, yes.
It was a great parade, they tell me. I'm sorry I missed it.
You missed it?
On the 31st of August in the middle of...
Stop.
Well, I didn't exactly miss it. What happened was, I was on the sidewalk, and there was a little fellow who couldn't see the parade, so I put him on my shoulder.
A little fellow?
Yeah, Mayor LaGuardia. And he couldn't see the parade.
Wait a minute.
So I
Mayor LaGuardia?
Yeah, it was on the
31st of August in the middle of July. Look, I've had enough of this parade and enough of the song.
And, George, during the parade, there were men selling shamrocks, green ice cream, furniture, clay pipes,
They were
canes.
selling furniture?
Yeah, a man came up to me and he said, lady, will you give me 25 cents for a bed? And I said to him, I said, now listen to me,
Gracie,
my good man.
Just a second.
Yeah,
if you don't mind pausing, I have a line.
Well...
A very big line.
Well,
Gracie,
anyway,
the man was a panhandler.
No, he was only handling beds.
Oh, he didn't have any pens.
Well, I couldn't tell. He had on a long overcoat.
Just for that 31st of August. All right, please.
Say, Gracie, whenever you meet a panhandler, why don't you do what I do? I just brush them off.
Well, Jimmy, with your mustache, you can do it.
No, what I mean is, Gracie, I don't give them any cash. Now, just the other day, I met a man who said, Mister, I'm starving. Would you help me?
Oh, isn't that silly? Why should you help him starve? Well, anyway, after the parade...
That's the chaser.
Well, anyway, after the parade, Artie Shaw took me home, and we were sitting in the living room, and I said, Artie?
Artie Shaw took you home?
Yes, and I said, Artie?
Didn't I tell you to break up this romance?
Yes, and I said, Artie?
Oh, stop with that, Artie. Artie, were you out with Gracie again last night?
Sure, it was on the 31st of August.
Oh, fine. Gracie, try to get this through that silly head of yours. You've got to split this thing up. Business and romance don't mix.
Well, I guess you're right, George. You just can't mix business with romance.
Well, it's about time you realized it.
So, we'll take the romance and give you the business. Hello.
Hello. Well, I give up.
It was on the 31st of August in the middle of July.
Is that the right key?
The afternoon was wet and the morning it was dry.
You might as well finish it.
I met a fair young lady sitting under an old oak tree.
Pretty.
And divil a word I said to her, and the same she said to me.
Well, I didn't know you could dance, Gracie. Gracie, I didn't know you could dance. I certainly was.
Well, George, it looks like you and Gracie are washed up for good. Brother, ever since she and Artie started to say, plow, I knew you were a dead duck.
Yeah, Jimmy, I better break that romance up. It's lasted longer than the snow on the streets in New York. And I know how to break it up. I'll use system number 3.
System number 3, what's that?
The old sympathy gag. It's bound to work with Gracie. Watch. Gracie.
Well, just a minute. Oh, that was wonderful, Artie. But the next time you hug me, I wish you'd take the clarinet out of your mouth. What is it, George?
Gracie, I've got something to say to you, and please try to understand. I want you to know it's not because I'm jealous. We've been together for years, and you just can't tear down everything that we've built up in just one day.
Oh, well, how long will it take?
Gracie, remember the first time I met you?
Mm-hmm.
We were just kids then.
That's right.
You'll have to admit I wasn't selfish. If I had anything, didn't you always get it?
Yeah, until I was vaccinated.
Remember when I took you to the ice cream parlor and we had a strawberry soda?
Mm-hmm.
You may not believe it, but that day I fell in love.
Really?
I felt so silly I couldn't look at the soda clerk. It was love at first sight.
Well, I don't blame you, George. He was very cute soda clerk.
No. I mean, I fell in love with you, Gracie.
Oh, so that's why you paid for my soda.
And, Gracie, that childhood romance ripened into, well, it isn't just friendship. It isn't just a passing fancy. It isn't just a partnership. Do you know what it is?
Oh, does it hang from the ceiling and whistle?
Does it hang from the season and whistle?
No, ceiling.
Gracie, boys, a little soft music. Maybe that'll help. Thanks, fellas. Gracie, remember that little tea room on 6th Avenue that we used to go to?
The one where they have the candlelight and the gypsy music?
Yeah, that's the place.
Oh, it makes my heart beat faster when I think of it.
Oh, I see. You still remember it.
Remembered, I was there last night with Artie. Hello.
Hello. All right, boys, stop it. I've had enough. Gracie, don't you understand? I've been talking to you until I'm blue in the face.
Oh, please, George Green. It's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm going outside. I've got another system.
I'll go with you, George. I want to get you some tonic.
Tonic? Why?
To fix up your system.
Oh, poor George. I hope he doesn't jump off the Empire State Building.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awful? He hasn't got a coat and he might catch cold.
Yeah.
Senor Shaw, would you like some advice?
What kind of advice?
Well, if I were in your place, and if you take my advice, I will be. Why don't you and Miss Allen elope?
But, Senor Leah, if I elope with Artie, who'll take care of the band?
Let them get their own girls.
Artie, I think Senor Lee's got a cute idea. Let's elope just this once, huh? Well, look, we'll elope from the El Morocco tonight. It's just the place. It's on the ground floor, so we won't need a ladder.
El Morocco. Why not the Store Club?
Store Club? Well, Artie, maybe in a year.
Hey, listen, everybody, this'll kill you.
What?
Gotcha.
I just overheard George call up a theatrical agency, and he asked them to send over an actress to pretend she's George's girlfriend.
Well, why?
Well, to make love to George and make Gracie jealous.
Well, say, that's a swell idea. And I'll bet she'll get jealous, too. She's probably a very jealous type if it's the same Gracie Allen. Oh, pardon me, it's me.
Listen, Jimmy, I know what we can do. Let's double-cross George and cancel the girl on him.
Double-cross George?
Yep, and I can get a girl to take her place.
Oh, gee, that would be a swell surprise for George.
Hey, look, wait a minute. Oh, I've got just the girl. Wallington, go out and call Stillman's Jim.
Stillman's Jim?
Yeah. This dame happens to be a lady wrestler.
A lady wrestler?
Yeah, just ask for Grappling Gertie.
Okay.
A lady wrestler? I've never seen a lady wrestler. Oh, I hope he falls for her. You know, I know once in Cleveland...
Well, what are you two talking about?
Nothing's on the 31st of August in the middle of July. The afternoon was wet and the morning it was dry.
I talked to a fair young lady just now on the telephone.
And she's coming here from Stillman's Gym, and she will break your balls.
That was Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, played by Artie Shaw, the 52nd Street Romeo, who's going to be surprised when he gets a kick in the balcony. And by the way, Artie,
Hey, everything's okay, Artie. I made the switch.
Switch? What switch?
The thing under his nose is a switch, you know. He made it. You thought it was real, huh? It is, then. Jimmy, take it off and wait for the George.
Oh, quiet.
Really? Oh, thanks, Artie. And Artie, can you picture us a few years from now, a little place in the country?
Yeah, vine-covered cottage.
A little mortgage covering the vine.
That's right. And you're in the living room eating a box of chocolate?
Yes, while you're in the kitchen standing over a hot clarinet.
Well, I agree with you two. There's nothing like love. And I'm the one who knows.
Well, George, now don't tell me you're in love.
It was on the 31st of August in the middle of July.
George, how long have you known this girl?
Well, we went to school together. Where'd you meet her? She's like a piece of Dresden china. As a matter of fact, she was so fragile that we boys used to call her Twinkle Toes.
Oh.
Boy, I bet she's beautiful, huh, George?
Oh, yes, and what a voice.
Oh, probably like Nelson Eddy.
Nelson Eddy?
Well, maybe not exactly like Nelson Eddy. Maybe more like a half Nelson Eddy.
A half Nelson Eddy? Listen, what's going on here?
Senor Burns, I have a little information. I hate to be a rat, but Mickey Mouse is doing bad.
Senor, what's this information?
Are you asking me as just the guitar player?
Yes.
I know nothing. But now ask me as the new leader of the band.
I think I see what you mean.
And throw in a little cash.
All right, you're the new leader of the band, and I'll give you $5. What do you know?
Who'll make it 6?
I will.
I know nothing.
You know nothing, huh? Well, you're all jealous.
You know, George, I know just how you feel when you meet an old flame. Well, it just happened to me today. As a matter of fact, this girl is just as dainty and fragile as your Twinkle Toes.
Dresden china?
Dresden china? Suppose she was Dresden slacks. What difference does it make what she was Dresden? Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. I said the wrong thing. Well, here she is. Now you'll see something. Come in.
Well, George, Twinkle Toes is here.
Twinkle Toes? Say, you've changed. Don't you remember me? I'm George Burns.
Hello, George.
Oh, my. What a beautiful voice. What a wonderful ring. But then again, it should be. She's in it half the time.
Twinkle Toes, I'm certainly glad to see you.
I'm sorry I'm late, George. I was a little tied up.
Well, Twinkle Toes, it's like old times, isn't it? When you left home, did you tell your mother who you were going to meet tonight?
Zabisco.
Zabisco?
Well, George, Zabisco. I read that on the night chart when I had my eyes examined this morning. It said Z-Y.
Well?
See why I need glasses?
Well, look, I've had enough of this silly stuff.
Well, Artie, George and Twinkle Toes want to be alone.
Well, we do. What do you think of that? Twinkle Toes?
What is it, lover?
Remember when we were kids?
Yeah.
Remember those romantic nights under the stars?
Yeah.
Remember when I carried your books to school?
Yeah.
Remember when she carried you?
Yeah.
You know, Twinkle Toes, when I first fell for you, it wasn't just your looks that attracted me. It wasn't just your personality. It wasn't just your mind. Do you know what it was?
Does it hang from the ceiling and whistle?
Oh, quiet.
Go ahead, tell me more about that love stuff, George.
Yeah, go ahead and tell her, Lenny.
Oh, quiet. Gracie, will you take Artie away from here?
Well, Artie, George is right. Nobody should interfere with lovers. Lovers should be left alone. It's very rude to interfere. George, let me tell you how to do it. Now, Twinkle Toes, you stand over here, and George, you stand over there.
Okay, who's the referee?
Referee? Wait a minute. Is this a love match or a wrestling match?
There's a difference?
What's What's going on here?
Well, now we'll begin, and you don't have to worry, because I know plenty about love. You see, I used to be an usherette in the balcony at the Roxy.
I say it.
Now, Twinkle toes, the first thing you do is grab George in your arms. Do you understand?
Well, to be frank, no.
Oh, I'm not going to like this.
Oh, how silly of me. Oh, I know how to get you together. Here we go.
Stay away. Stay away, Twinkle toes. Oh.
Isn't that cute? George's first crush.
Wait a minute. Are you the girl that was sent over here by that theatrical agency?
No, somebody phoned me at Stillman's gym. I'm grappling Grady, known as the glamorous gorilla.
How did that girl get here? Gracie, how did this girl get here?
Well, she must have walked. The buses are on strike, you know. Isn't it awful, George? You know, I always say...
Oh,
I
stop,
always
stop.
No, only when I get off.
Oh, quiet. Well, a fine trick for a bunch of grown-up people to play on their boss. What a thing to do. It isn't honorable. It isn't fair. It isn't cricket. It isn't sporting. Do you know what it is?
Does it hang from the ceiling?
Oh, quiet. Well, Gracie, say goodnight.
Good night. George, I'm going out. Don't I look pretty?
Oh, you look pretty. Yes. You kind of like flattery, huh?
Sure, I like all the Irish.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? O'Reilly, O'Flanagan, O'Toole,
Good
O'Sullivan,
night,
O'Connor,
folks.
O'Neill.
Good night.
Hello? Are you there? Well, we're here.
Swan, the new white floating soap, presents Paul Whiteman. Your Swanee announcer, Bill Goodwin. And here are the stars of our show, George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Hello, George Burns speaking. What? Yes, Mrs. Burns is home. Gracie, it's for you.
Oh, thanks. Hello? Who? Oh, hello. Oh, I've got some wonderful news for you. George and I are going to work on our new radio program today. What? Oh, thanks. Well, we've been just as worried about it as you have. Well, it's been awfully nice of you to call us every day. Goodbye.
Who's that?
The telephone company.
What are they worried about? They'll get paid. Well, Gracie, we've got to get to the studio. Where's my shirt?
George, don't walk in front of that window in your underwear. You know how snoopy those people are who live next door.
Oh, the last photos, huh?
Yes, they're always sneaking around and peeking in our windows.
Well, I think that's awful.
Well, it certainly is. And to tell you the truth, you don't look as nice in your underwear as Mr. Lastfogel.
Gracie, please, I've got to find my shirt. Where's that maid? Hilda! Hilda!
Yeah, Mr. George Burns.
Where's my shirt? Hilda, where's my shirt? Gracie, why doesn't she answer me?
It's her day off.
If it's her day off, what is she doing here?
She lives here.
And she gets paid here, too, a fine maid. When you want her, it's her day off.
Oh, now I think you're very mean to stand here and say things like that behind Hilda's back.
Behind her back?
Yeah, she's looking out the window.
Oh. Hilda, what are you laughing at?
Doesn't Mr. Lastfogel look funny in his underwear?
I'll bet it's the one with the green stripes.
Get away from there, Hilda, and get out. He does look funny at that. What is that?
That's Mr. Lastfogel laughing at you.
Well, pull down that shade. We'll never get to the studio. Gracie, throw me my shoes.
Here they are.
Oh, well, I hope our show gets over. It'll be the first time we ever did a show without a singer.
Oh, you're just saying that because you don't know Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Yeah,
Who's Jimmy?
the singer I signed.
You signed the singer?
Why not? He knows how to write.
Gracie, since when have you become a talent scout?
Well, I used to be a Girl Scout, and I figured if a girl could be a Girl Scout, a talent can be a talent scout.
You figured that out yourself?
Sure.
Well, there's quite a difference. Talent scout looks for talent, and the Girl Scout
looks for girls.
Yeah, looks for girls, yeah.
Imagine that John Barrymore Girl Scout.
Gracie, I don't want to get excited, but who is the singer?
Well, his name is Jimmy Cash. I met him in a grocery store.
You mean he was buying groceries?
No, he was selling them.
You signed a grocery clerk?
Uh-huh.
What kind of a voice has he got? Is he a baritone? Is he a tenor?
Well, I don't know. I didn't hear him sing.
You didn't hear him sing?
Uh-uh.
Well, then how do you know he had a good voice?
Well, I knew it the minute I heard him. He said, a pound of cheese for Mrs. Breeze.
A pound of cheese for Mrs. Breeze? What did he do for an encore?
He sold some fish to Mrs. Gish.
Well, of all the imbecilic things to do, going into a grocery store and... Well, here's the doorbell. I wonder who that can be.
Well, maybe it's Hilda's boyfriend, Olaf Fenn. She's got a date with him.
Why doesn't she answer the door?
It's her day off.
I suppose I'll have to answer it. Just a minute, I'm putting on my robe.
Good evening, Mr. Burns. I am Ola.
I know. Come right in. So you're Hilda's boyfriend?
Hudson.
Hudson, huh? Well, that's all I needed. That's a smart 5-button suit you've got on, Olaf.
Yeah, it's a little tight around the brawler.
Oh, I think I get it. Brawler suit.
Hudson,
yes. Well, sit down. I'll call Hilda.
Whoop.
What was that?
My riddle.
I'll go in the kitchen and Hilda will sew it for you.
Hudson.
Oh, go with that Hudson. Gracie.
Here I am, putting on my hat.
Look, while I go and look for a shirt, will you phone Paul Whiteman and Bill Goodwin and you tell them that we're leaving?
All right.
Number, please.
Operator, will you get me Paul Whiteman at the Hollywood Plaza Hotel and Bill Goodwin at our radio studio at the same time? Well, I want to tell them the same thing, and it's silly to make 2 calls. Don't you think so?
I have both your parties. Go ahead, Miss Allen.
Hello?
Hello, this is Bill Goodwin. Who's this?
You just told me it's Bill Goodwin. Now, guess who this is?
Hello, this is Paul Whiteman. Why did you call me, Gracie?
I didn't call you Gracie. I called you Paul.
Aha, this is Gracie Allen.
It is? Well, if you're Gracie Allen, who am I?
Look, I'm Paul Whiteman.
Oh, I'm certainly happy you're going to be on our program. Well, I'm glad you're so excited.
Well, why shouldn't I be? You'd be, too, when you hear my new trumpet player. When he blows that horn, you should see just what comes out.
It sounds great.
It's terrific, and what an arrangement I've doped out. Boy, my music will set your feet a-moving, with a bass fiddle slapping out a good hot chorus.
My, that sounds exciting and pretty and confusing.
Gracie, are you still on the phone?
Oh, well, goodbye, boys. See you at the studio.
Well, I'm all dressed. Let's hurry. You ready?
Oh, wait, I'll look in the mirror. Hat and vest, that's right. 2 stockings, that's right. 3 shoes, that's right. My gloves.
3 shoes?
Yeah, that's right. My gloves.
3 shoes?
Well, sure. It's much safer to put your money in your shoe than it is to put it in your purse.
So you take along an extra shoe?
Certainly.
You're going to carry it in your hand?
No, in the purse.
Well, that's a smart idea. Well, come on, let's go. Wait a minute. Am I silly or am I silly? I forgot to put on my suspenders. Gracie, where are my suspenders?
Oh, come on, George. That'll only hold things up. Let's go.
Well, all right. I'll get a pair on the road. Well, Paul, here we are together on the Swan Show, and believe me, I'm thrilled.
Thanks, George, and that goes double for me.
Oh, please, Paul. This is a soap program. You mean that goes bubble for me.
Gracie's right, George.
Yeah, but only this time. Listen to this, Paul. Gracie went into a grocery store, and what do you think she came back with?
I don't care what it is. Just drag it out, brother. I'm starved.
You don't understand, Paul. Gracie went into a grocery store, hired a grocery clerk as a singer on our program.
You said it. When there's something to be done, I do it.
Oh, yes, and fast.
I don't sit and let grass grow under my feet.
Well, never mind. Don't bother with it, Gracie.
There's nothing to get excited about, George. I once hired a trumpet player for $300 a week, and he couldn't play a note. I worried for months, but it turned out okay.
How?
I lost 85 pounds.
Well, off you, it looks good.
Say, Paul, what'd you do with your old suits?
I subdivided them.
You subdivided them?
Yes, each suit made 10 bundles for Britain.
Well, Gracie, will you take the phone? He subdivided them. That's the silliest thing Gracie, take the phone.
Got it. What do you want me to do with it?
Take the receiver off the hook and answer it.
Yeah, oh.
Oh, it's a new invention.
Hello? Oh, hello. George, it's Jimmy Cash.
Well, as long as you've got him signed, tell him to hurry over. I'd like to hear him sing.
George says to come right over. What, Jimmy? Really? Oh, well, I'm thrilled for you, too, Jimmy. George is so excited he can't talk.
Well, he should be.
Imagine selling rhubarb to Hedy Lamarr.
You don't know what that means to me.
What's that, Jimmy? Really beautiful, huh? Oh, not that gorgeous. Oh, we'll see for ourselves when you get to the broadcast.
He's bringing Hedy Lamarr?
No, the rhubarb.
Oh, Gracie, tell him to get over here.
Jimmy, George says to... What, Jimmy? Oh, all right. Goodbye, Jimmy. He can't leave until he sells 20 more pounds of potatoes.
Gracie, this whole thing is ridiculous. You can't find a singer in a grocery store.
Oh, no. That's the trouble with having brains. People tell us geniuses, you can't do this and you can't do that. They told Eli Whitney the same thing, but he went ahead and invented the electric light anyhow.
Gracie, in the first place, there was no electric light in Eli Whitney's time.
There must have been. How could he invent it in the dark?
All right, so he invented the electric light and the light, and let's forget the whole thing.
Well, sure, after all, the electric light isn't so important. It isn't half as important as the button.
As the button, yes.
Because if you couldn't press the button, you wouldn't get the light.
The light, I guess, yes.
Then if you didn't have a light, you
couldn't find the button. I knew that was coming. Gracie, what I'm trying to explain is this, you see.
So I really think Eli Whitney deserves all the credit.
As long as you're giving out credits, what about Whitney's mother?
A beautiful painting.
I'll tell Whistler's father when he comes in. And answer the phone, Bill, will you?
Okay, George. Hello? Gracie, it's for you.
Thanks. Hello? Oh, hello, Jimmy. What? Oh, I see.
Oh, he's on his way, huh?
No, he still has to sell 10 more pounds of potatoes.
Will you tell him to get over here right away?
George says you better get over here right away. What? Well, of course that's more important. George, he's cleaning out a pickle barrel.
He's cleaning out a pickle barrel?
Now, don't forget you're going to sing in our program tonight, Jimmy. Mine, your voice sounds so lovely, too. So nice and deep. What? Oh, you're in the barrel.
Oh, well,
see you later. Goodbye.
Everything happens to me. Jimmy Cash is supposed to sing here or no Jimmy Cash. Gracie, you'll have to take his place.
Well, George, I don't know anything about selling potatoes.
I don't mean that.
Well, I'm certainly not going to get into a pickle barrel.
I don't mean that either. You'll have to sing for cash.
Wait, that's the first time I ever got paid.
Well, all right, Gracie. Go ahead and sing. Well, Gracie, that was really swell.
Well, where's the money?
A little later, yeah.
Say, excuse me, Gracie, there's a couple outside to see you. The girl says her name is Hilda.
George, that must be Hilda.
Yeah, it would be a bit surprised if it's Hilda.
I wouldn't either.
Oh, please, Gracie, go find out what she wants.
All right.
Oh, Gracie, there's a fellow with her, and his name is Olaf Swan.
Bill, it's Sven, not Swan.
I talked him out of it.
Well, nice talking. Talked him out of it. And answer the phone.
Okay. Hello? What? Oh, no, but I'll take a message for her. Oh, okay, goodbye.
Who was that?
George, it's Jimmy Cash. He'll be here as soon as he sells 5 more pounds of potatoes.
Well, that's fine.
Say, George, listen, maybe you're getting upset over nothing. You know, this kid may turn out to be something great.
You mean Gracie just walks into a grocery store and just like that discovers something great, huh?
Well, sure.
Bill, you can't find anything great in a grocery store. Gracie is wonderful. Jimmy Cash is wonderful.
How do you know? Have you ever heard him sing?
Well, no.
Well, then how can you be such a dope and sign a guy you never even heard?
I didn't sign him.
Yes, you did.
Gracie signed him. Oh, forget it, Paul. Will you answer the phone?
Hello. Hello, what? Okay, kid, I'll tell her.
What is it, Paul?
The singer will be here as soon as he sells 8 more pounds of potatoes.
8 more pounds? He just said 5.
Well, a customer brought back 3 pounds.
I can't make my mind up which I hate more, Jimmy Cash or potatoes.
George, if you're worried about a singer, I've got a kid in my band who plays the guitar, and he's not bad.
Now, look, Paul, not me. I had a South American guitar player last year, and he gave me a headache all season.
But this kid's great.
Well, who is he?
Que no te acuerdas de mí, yo estaba el año pasado cantando muy bien, gusté mucho, ¿te acuerdas?
Oh,
Yo soy
fine.
el mismo.
Paul, give me an aspirin.
¿Para qué necesitas una aspirina?
Look,
Porque no...
Senor Lee, I don't want to have any trouble with you again this season.
Now wait, Senor Burns. My very handsome, intelligent, talented young man. And boy, am I carrying the good neighbor policy too far. I am a singer.
Senor, I heard you sing. And you're not the type I'm looking for.
Why not? During this summer, I had my own radio program in Mexico. I called myself the Lone Ranger.
Well, that's not very original.
Oh, but I was much more up to date. When I came on the air, I hollered, "Hi-ho, aluminum!"
Paul, I'll talk to you later about that guitar player.
I even sang in opera.
I know, but I'm looking for a different type.
I made my big hit in the Barber of Barcelona.
Barcelona?
Si, senor.
You mean the Barber of Seville?
Well, business was so good, he opened up a branch.
Senor Lee, this year, leave me alone and just pick on your guitar, will you? I've got my own troubles. Gracie, did you see Hilda and Olaf?
How's that?
Well, she saw them.
What? Senor Lee, what are you doing here?
Imagínate que contrataron otro cantante después de todo lo que yo gusté el año pasado. ¿Qué te parece eso?
Oh, so what? A lot of people bet on the Dodgers.
Never mind. Gracie, what did you do with Hilda?
Well, I put her in the audience. There she is in the fourth row. Wave to her.
I'm waving to her. Hello, Hilda. Gracie, she's not waving back.
It's her day off.
Oh, it's her.
Gracie, while you were outside, that singer from the grocery store called and said he'd be right over.
Thanks, Paul.
Gracie, what kind of a voice has this new discovery of yours got?
Well, when I first heard him, he sounded like he had a mouthful of potato chips.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But that was maybe because he did have a mouthful of potato chips.
Sounds like he's got a voice that'll hit you right smack dab in the eye.
It did.
George, I'll take back the aspirin.
The aspirin, I thought so. Gracie, what Paul means is what kind of a voice has he got? What does he sound like?
Oh, well, why didn't you say that? Did you ever hear the Merrimax?
Uh-huh.
Well, he sounds like Max.
He sounds like Max?
Well, sure. He's not a girl. He couldn't very well sound like Mary.
Oh, the Mary Max.
Sure, you guessed it.
I made something up, I guess, yes. It came to me like a flash. Look, the Mary Max happened to be 4 people. Can you compare them with one person?
Oh, sure. Bing Crosby.
Now, Gracie, stay that way and don't let your mind wander. Jimmy Cash sings like Bing Crosby.
They're exactly alike.
Well, good.
Of course, Jimmy's low notes aren't as round as Bing's, but then again, Bing's rolled oats aren't as brown as Jimmy's.
Bing's rolled oats aren't as brown as Jimmy?
That's a pretty silly question, George.
I'll admit that.
Wait a minute. Maybe I can think of a silly answer.
Oh, quiet.
Say, stop kicking Crosby around like that. You know, he was my discovery.
Oh, well, we know that, Paul. Come in.
I sold the potatoes.
Well, finally arrived, folks. So, you're Jimmy Cash?
Oh, that's Jimmy Cash. You're looking at the rhubarb.
Oh. Pardon me, that's my...
Now, Jimmy, I want you to meet everybody. This is Paul Whiteman, and this is Bill Goodwin.
I'm George Burns.
You'll have to await your turn, sir.
You're not in a grocery store.
Now, George, he's my discovery, and I want to talk to him.
You'll talk to him later. Now, come here, kid. Now, don't get nervous. There's nothing to get nervous about. Did you ever sing before?
Yes, sir.
In theaters?
No, sir.
On the radio?
No, sir.
Where, sir? I mean, where did you sing?
At sociables.
At sociables? At sociables, huh? Well, let me hear you sing.
I'm nervous in front of a crowd, sir.
Paul, give me back the aspirin.
Yes, sir.
But there's nothing to be nervous about,
No, Jimmy, look at that audience. Why, they love you. Well, just look at all those friendly faces.
Well, what about that woman out there?
Where?
The one who's sleeping.
Hilda, will you get up?
Please, George. You know it's her day off.
Well, all right, Hilda. Go back to sleep again. Gracie, you'll never get this kid to sing.
Yes, I will. Now just leave it to me. Come here, Jimmy. Now, go ahead and sing. MGM might hear you, and overnight you'll be a star. And in the morning you're married to Lana Turner. Now go ahead and sing. Start, Paul.
The kid won't open his mouth, huh? Try Betty Grable.
Oh, Betty Grable or Ann Sheridan. Go ahead, Jimmy, sing.
He's probably holding out for baby Sandy, I guess.
Please. Now, Jimmy, you like being a grocery salesman, don't you?
I certainly do.
Now, how would you like to be the greatest grocery salesman in the world?
Gee, would I?
Well, tomorrow I'm coming into your store, and I'm going to buy 28,000 pounds of potatoes.
Oh, boy. Oh, too sweet
romance. Oh, Jimmy, I'm so proud of you. You were really wonderful.
Well, he certainly was. And, Gracie, I take my hat off to you, too.
Oh, thanks.
Mr. Burns, can I go now? There's somebody waiting.
Who, your sweetheart?
No, a customer for the rhubarb. Goodbye.
Wait a minute. Say, Jimmy.
Oh, Judge, don't worry. Don't worry. I've got him signed. I made him put his John Henry right on the dotted line. Here's the contract.
Well, that's great, Gracie. I hereby agree to work for George Burns and Gracie Allen for the entire season. Signed, John Henry. John Henry? His name is Jimmy Cash.
Well, sure. As I said before, I don't sit and let the rats grow under my feet. When things are done, I do them, and I always know when people want to do it.
Well, Gracie, the show is over.
Oh, I'm sure nervous.
Well, Cash, you're all invited to come over to the house and have something to eat.
Oh, please, Judge. You know it's Hilda's day off.
Oh, yes, I forgot that.
Come on, let's go.
What's your hurry?
I've got to cook dinner for Hilda.
Oh, for Hilda. Good night, folks.
Hello? Are you there? Well, we're here.
Swan, the new white floating soap, presents Paul Whiteman. Your Swanee announcer, Bill Goodwin.
Our singer, Jimmy Cash.
And here are the stars of our show, George Burns and Gracie Allen.
And now, let's go to George and Gracie's home.
You know, Mr. French, you're the nicest people I ever worked for.
Well, thank you, Hilda.
Oh, geez, this Mrs. French born in the kitchen. I wonder if that cake in the oven is ready yet.
Well, Hilda, I'll look at it as soon as I finish washing the dishes. Oh, Hilda, look. My cake is all ruined.
Well, no wonder. You're supposed to put the icing on the cake after you bake it.
Oh, that isn't icing. All the candles melted.
Hey, Gracie.
Hilda, let him look for me.
Gracie? Hilda, have you seen Mrs. Burns?
George, look in the gymnasium.
Gracie, come on out. Come on out of the kitchen.
I'm coming.
What have you been doing in there for 2 hours?
Well, I washed the dishes, peeled the potatoes, and I baked a cake, and the whole cake...
Gracie, we've got a maid. Why are we paying Hilda?
Well, I don't know. She gives all her money to her sweetheart, Olaf.
Oh, stop with that, Olaf.
Hudson.
Hudson? The idea of you doing all the housework.
Well, the reason is I went to Magnum's and I bought Hilda a beautiful uniform for $85, and I don't think we could afford to have her soil it.
Well, that was very thoughtful because I hate to wash uniforms.
Well, anyway, I mixed the green salad, George, and it's simply delicious.
Well, it ought to be good. Nobody can mix things up like you do.
Oh, thanks, dear.
You're welcome, darling.
Now, wait till you taste it. Lettuce and tomatoes, chives and onions, and I seasoned it with pepper and salt and plenty of vinegar and water.
Water?
Yeah.
Vinegar and water?
Well, it's a new recipe of mine. I read where Mr. Ickes is asking everybody to save oil.
Well, Well, with a thing like that, you can get a lot more mileage out of a tomato.
Well, I always say...
Well, never mind what you always say. I'm not in the mood today.
Don't be so grumpy, George. You're still upset over what happened yesterday.
Well, why shouldn't I get upset? That's the second time the insurance doctors turned me down. They say my blood pressure is higher than it should be.
Well, why worry? In times like this, everything is going up.
Imagine those doctors turning me down twice.
Well, being turned down twice never stopped you before. You finally married me.
Well, that's right, dear. It was on a Tuesday.
Yes.
Remember how we eloped?
Mm-hmm. Remember how my mother ran down the ladder to show me how to do it?
Yes, and if she hadn't tripped, she'd have spent the honeymoon with us.
Yeah. Well, anyway, dear, you'll be happy to know I made an appointment with another insurance company, and you're going to be examined again today.
Well, I'll try it again. But this time I'd like things quiet so I can be calm and sort of relax when the doctors get here. The only reason I got turned down yesterday was because I was excited. It was Lasvogel's fault, that Snoopy neighbor. Kept looking in our windows.
He's certainly a Snoopy, isn't he?
I'll say he's Snoopy. He probably knows exactly what we had on our dinner table last night.
Oh, never mind, George. It was better than that macaroni and cheese he was eating.
Yeah, especially with that homemade sauce he was using.
Yeah. Hilda, the door.
Oh, that's probably the doctor.
Oh, I hope so. You look swell.
Do
Stick
I?
out your tongue. Now, put it back. You look better with it in.
Oh, I do.
Oh, hello, Hilda.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Goodrich.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Well, I was in the neighborhood, so I just dropped in. Came from the park. I was feeding the swans.
You feed the swans?
Oh, why, sure, George. Why shouldn't I feed the swans? Swan feeds me.
Okay, I know you made it. Look, Bill, will you calm down, please? Calm down.
Bill, will you calm down? George has to relax today, so don't even talk loud.
Oh, well, gee, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to pull the wool over my... It's probably somebody at the door.
Yeah?
I'm Jimmy Cash.
The grocery boy, would you please take those bottles to the back door?
Hilda, let him in. That's our singer.
Oh.
And Jimmy, stop rattling those bottles. They're making me nervous.
Yes, Jimmy, and I don't want George nervous today. Here, put them under your arm like this.
Jimmy, stop dropping those bottles. Look, Jimmy, I wish you wouldn't come to rehearsal while you're making deliveries. You find the piano in the other room.
Thank you. Would there be anything else, sir?
And you're not in a grocery store.
Oh, please, George.
Will there be anything
the
else?
doctor is coming. Relax.
Yes, George, relax. Don't let a little tinkle of a bottle upset you. You're not a nervous wreck yet.
He is, too.
I am not.
No, Bill, he is not. How can you call him a nervous wreck? And I don't understand why everybody has to keep talking all the time. Listen to me. I don't talk.
Not much.
I know when to keep quiet.
Sure.
I certainly know enough to keep quiet when I'm supposed to keep quiet. I may talk a lot on the radio, but I never talk at home. And the only reason I talk on the radio is because I think it's nice to have a home.
Well, I'm going in to hear Jimmy's song.
No, George, you just sit here and be calm. Bill and I'll hear it.
Be calm. I'll never get any insurance.
Oh, why worry? If Uncle Frank got insurance, you can get insurance. You were there the day he got his.
But he was dead.
Well, you look as good as he does.
Well, thanks, Gracie.
All right, Jimmy, we're ready. Well, Jimmy, that was swell. Let's see how George likes it.
Gracie, George is asleep.
Oh, good. Come on, Jimmy, you better go down the back way. Be careful of those bottles. I don't want to wake George up.
I'll be careful.
And don't trip and fall. One of those steps is loose.
Which one?
The top one.
What was that?
Quiet. You want to wake George up?
I'll take a chance. What was that racket?
Oh, it's you.
Oh, yeah, it's me, yeah.
George, Jimmy Cash fell down the back stairs with all that soda pop.
Well, it sounded like Bedlam.
Oh, it was sarsaparilla.
Yes, it couldn't be Bedlam.
No.
Bedlam comes in those paper cartons.
Yeah, 15 to a dozen.
Yeah, the tall cartons, yes. 15 to a dozen. With all this excitement, by the time the doctor gets here, I'll be a cooked goose.
Oh.
Gracie, I'm warning you. if you keep on with this talk, by the time the doctor gets here, I'm going to be a nervous wreck.
George is right, Bill. And it's your fault if he's a nervous wreck. You've got no right to be happy because George is a cook swan. Excitement like this isn't even good for a man who's well. I'm not worried about his high blood pressure, but it's just that high blood pressure makes his heart weak.
Gracie, the doctor is here.
And you know he's been turned down by 2 insurance companies.
Gracie, the doctor is here.
The only way he can pass this is if the doctor is some dope and doesn't know what he's doing.
Gracie, say hello to the doctor.
How do? When a fellow's in his condition, he... Oh, the doctor.
The doctor, yes.
Oh, how do, doctor? Sound. I've just been rehearsing a scene that I did in a picture 2 years ago.
Yes. Bravo.
Thanks,
Bill. Doctor, I'm Mr. Burns.
How do you do? Well, let's get started with the examination. But we must have absolute quiet and no excitement.
Why, Doctor? I haven't got blood pressure.
Perhaps not, but I have.
Oh, fine.
Now roll up your sleeve.
Oh, see, Judge, it's a good thing you washed high this morning.
Gracie, will you stop?
Now open your shirt. I want to put this stethoscope on your chest.
There's someone at the door.
Now take a deep breath.
Come in, Mr. Weissman. I'm so happy to see you.
Why, Hilda, in that new uniform, you look as cute as a bug in a rug. How about giving a lug a hug?
Oh, Mr. Weissman. Jesus, where did you learn to speak like that?
Used to play an accordion.
Hello.
Hello, Gracie.
Paul, I wish you'd teach George how to play the accordion.
Oh, Gracie, please.
Take another deep breath.
Well, get a load of that guy with the earphone. George, I knew you were old, but I didn't know you were a crystal set.
Very funny, Paul. Loosen your belt and see if you can take a bow. Well, come on, Doctor. Let's go into the library.
Please, Mr. Burns, don't walk so fast.
You mean on account of my heart?
No, the stethoscope is stretching my ears.
This way, Doc.
Hey, Gracie, what goes with that Army show? My boys are all sitting outside in the bus. I thought we were going to the camp to entertain the soldiers today.
Oh, Paul, I had to call it off on account of Judge's examination today. I spoke to the captain on the phone, and I said to him, Captain, we can't come over and entertain the Army, but if you send the Army over here, we'll be glad to have them entertain us.
Oh, I see. I scratch your back, and you scratch mine.
Later, Paul. Anyway, the captain said he's sending over some company. Gee.
He didn't say he's sending over Company G?
That's what he said. Isn't that cute? He called me G. That's short for Gracie. So I said, thanks, K.
I see. K. That's short for Captain.
No. For his name, Clancy.
Oh.
Paul, do you think George is passing his examination?
I doubt it. He's got a heartbeat that sounds like my drummer when he gets caught in his own tracks.
Say, I just thought of a wonderful idea. Paul, if you open the window and have your boys play a number, the doctor won't be able to hear George's heart, and he'll have to give George the policy. Now, don't you think that's a wonderful idea?
Anything you say, Gracie. Hey, Lugs, get ready out there. We're going to play a Lube Chango. It's a little on the Latin side. A 1, a 2.
Oh, and the whole thing is my idea. My wife. What's your genius?
How can anybody get an examination with all this racket? I'm surprised at you, Paul. You're the last man in the world I'd expect to have trouble with.
Oh, it wasn't my idea. I was only trying to help.
That's right, George. It wasn't his idea.
Well, whoever made that suggestion was silly. He had no right to listen to silly suggestions.
That's right, Paul. You shouldn't listen to silly suggestions. You know George is in there trying to get insurance,
no, never,
and you're out here
never
letting
look,
boys...
Gracie, will you stop helping me? Hey, you musicians out there, will you get back in that truck and go someplace?
Si esos babosos quieren ir, bueno, pero yo me quedo aquí.
No, it's the guitar player. Yeah, and I mean you too, Senor Lee.
Senor Burns, don't shout. Man with your character should keep his voice low, too.
Look, Senor, the doctor's here to take my blood pressure.
Why, couldn't you keep up the payment?
Say, Paul, will you talk to him?
Hey, guitar player, take an 8-bar rest. Burns doesn't feel well.
If he's sick, why doesn't he do like my brother in Chicago does? He eats a dozen red chili peppers a day.
12 of those red-hot peppers?
Si, senor. Comes the first snowfall, my brother will make a fortune.
How?
Breathing on sidewalks.
Hey, Senor, why don't you go?
Si,
Sí, señor. Adiós. Hasta luego.
Yeah, and so are you. Well, this is a fine thing. And, Gracie, I'm surprised at you. Allowing a thing like this to go on when you know how much this examination means to me. Oh, now, wait a minute, sweetheart. I didn't mean to make you cry.
George, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Gracie thought she was doing all this for you.
Now, Gracie, please. Look, I don't like to see you cry. Look, honey, you can go and get that hat that you like so much at Magnet.
It's in my closet.
Well, I'm glad you got it, but please stop crying. Look, you can go back and get that dress you like so much, too.
It's in my closet, too.
Look, you've got a new hat and a new dress. What are you crying about?
The shoes didn't come yet.
Oh, all right. Stop crying. The shoes will be here in a minute.
Mr. Burns, I have other patients to see. Do you mind if we continue?
Just a minute. Stop crying, Gracie. All right, Doc. And look, Paul and Bill, do you think you can keep quiet for 2 minutes? Now, go ahead, Doc.
Well, now sit back and relax. Now, take a deep breath.
Well, those musicians are still out there. Well, I'm going outside and I'll get rid of those guys. Say, what is this? Gracie, who are all these soldiers?
Well, George, I figured as long as you had to stay in, I'd invite a little company.
A little company? Why, there's hundreds of them.
Yeah, and don't they look nice? They must all have the same tailor.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Why, there are thousands.
You can close the door now, George.
Oh, fine.
George Burns and Gracie Allen?
Yes?
Company G reporting for entertainment.
Well, look, I'm sorry, Captain, but there must be a little mix-up about this entertainment. But some other time, we'd be very happy to entertain the company, you see.
Now that you soldier boys are here, I'm going to show you through the whole house and get you some refreshments.
Gracie.
Hilda! Yeah? 130 hamburgers, one with mustard.
Well, this is the last straw. Bill, will you do me a favor and show the boys through the house?
Oh, I'll be glad to, George. Company, mark time.
Well, that's all I needed.
Oh, just look at that army. Aren't they the cutest bunch of boys? George, you see that tall, dark one near the end, the pretty one?
Yes.
The hamburger with the mustard for him.
Well, I hope they'll be very happy together.
So long, George. So long, Gracie. I got to go home.
Goodbye, Paul.
Well, I'll try it again.
Yes.
Now, take a deep breath, Mr. Burns. Say, I was mistaken. Your heart is in perfect condition.
Well, certainly.
Well, it should be in perfect condition. He takes enough medicine for it.
Gracie, will you stop?
Now, I'll take your blood pressure. And while I take it, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Now, Mr. Burns, do you sleep sound?
Of course I sleep sound.
And you ought to hear the sound.
Look, Gracie, will you stop helping me? Oh, the army is coming.
Each Jacob's one is really twins. One breaks into so he after kitchen happened that. Follow me, I'll show you the dining room.
It was a little too low for him, I guess. Yes, well, they're right in step with my headache.
So long, George. So long, Gracie.
So long, Paul. I thought that guy was low.
Well, I'll try it again.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Burns, did your mother and father ever have any phobias?
No, only boys and girls.
Listen, Doctor, I don't know anything about these medical terms, but I never had a sick day in my life. As a matter of fact, I'm always on my toes.
Yeah, and don't think it isn't hard to do with those flat feet.
Yeah. Gracie, why don't you do me a favor and... Oh, the army is coming again.
I've shown the boys through all the house. I've nothing more to say, except for that you really ought to try Swan soap today. Company, halt. Try Swan. So
So long, George. So long, Gracie.
So long, Paul.
Bye, Paul.
Say, I thought you'd gone.
You know me, brother. I'm a sucker for parades. So long.
Paul.
Say, George, I taught the fellas here in the Army a new drill. Okay, boys, count off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait, better. Look, will you all be quiet for a minute?
Okay, George.
I'm dying and everybody is laughing. Doctor, I noticed that you're through.
Yes, and I've got some bad news for you. Your blood pressure is 10 points too high.
Well, to tell you the truth, Doctor, I sort of expected it.
Oh, don't be upset, sweetheart.
Well, why shouldn't I be upset? Any man would be upset. Trying to take out a $50,000 policy so he could protect his wife.
Oh, well, I don't want that kind of money. I'm not the cleverest businesswoman in the world, and if anything happened to you and you left all that money, I'd only make some silly investment and lose it. If I lost it, I'd feel awful.
Well, I guess so.
Well, sure, but now if you die, I won't have any reason to feel bad.
Well, that makes me feel very happy.
Men, to show our appreciation, let's salute George Burns and Gracie Allen. 1, 2, hello!
Hey, Doctor, George fainted.
Wait a minute. Look, this excitement has worked wonders. It's brought his blood pressure back to normal. Congratulations, Mrs. Burns. Your husband can get the insurance policy.
Well, isn't that wonderful? George passed the examination. It just shows you what a little quiet can do. Now he's strong and healthy and a perfect specimen.
Well, I got my insurance the hard way after all.
Hello? Are you there? Well, we're here.
Swan, the new white floating soap, presents Paul Whiteman. Your Swanee announcer, Bill Goodwin.
Our singer, Jimmy Cash.
And here are the stars of our show, George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Yes, sir, it's the new Burns and Allen show. And now we listen in on Gracie at home.
Hello? Yes. Yeah, this is Gracie Allen. Who's this? Who? Well, you'll have to spell it. M-O-T-H? Moth? M-O-T-H-E-R? Oh, the mother. Oh, sorry, but we have all the mothballs we need. What? M-A-M-A. Oh, hello, Mother. How are you? What? You think Mr. What? Hold the phone, Mother. Jimmy Cash, please, I'm on the phone. What, Mother? No, that isn't George singing in the bathtub. No, today's Tuesday. Say, Mother, how's Bessie? What? You think Mr. Peterson the butcher is falling in love with Bessie? How do you know? Oh, last night she found a forget-me-not on her calf's liver? Oh, good. You went to the football game Saturday. Oh, really? $4.40 a ticket? My, that's expensive. What? Papa made a touchdown. Oh, Papa made a touchdown of the Elks Club. Oh. Well, I'll have to say goodbye, Mother. What? A message for George? Yeah. Oh, wait, I'll have to write that down. Hilda!
Yeah, Mrs. Burns?
Go in the den and get me a pencil, please. Oh, by the way, Mother, yesterday I went out in the garden and I picked the most beautiful sweet peas, but George didn't like them. Well, maybe I should have cooked them plain instead of with carrots. Oh, yeah. Well, I must tell you...
Here's your pencil. Mrs. Burns.
Oh, thanks. All right, Mother, I've got the pencil. What was that message again? Well, not so fast. Say hello to George. Oh, all right.
Oh, hello, sweetheart.
Oh, George, Mother just sent you a message. Hello.
Hello. Well, sit down, Gracie. I've got some wonderful news for you. MGM wants you to make a picture.
Really?
Yes. Mr. and Mrs. North was a big hit on Broadway last season, and now MGM wants you to be Mrs. North.
Well, I couldn't do that, George. I'm already Mrs. Burns.
I know that,
Oh,
but...
my mother wouldn't like it if I took a second husband.
I know that, but...
She isn't crazy about my first one.
I know that, too. Gracie, this is a wonderful opportunity for you. And another thing, it'll be a great experience. Then again, look at the practical side. Now, don't only think of yourself, think of me. Think of the money we'll make.
Oh, Judge, you sound just like you're proposing again.
Gracie, will you make the picture?
Certainly.
Well, Gracie, you've made me so happy that you can have anything you want.
Oh, will you give me my half of my salary?
I'm not that happy. Well, anyway, you're going to make this...
Hello, Bill.
Oh, hello,
Gracie.
Bill.
Hello, George. Say, what's this I've been reading in Luella Parsons' column that MGM wants Gracie to do Mr. and Mrs. North?
Is it in the paper already?
Yeah.
Say, I've got one in the den. I'll take a look. Gracie. What's that?
It's Jimmy Cash. He's rehearsing here.
Oh, yeah? Well, let me listen.
Open the door. I want to see if he made it. He did. Oh, George, I want to thank you for that gold locket you left on the table yesterday.
A gold locket?
Yes.
What gold locket?
You know, the one that has the picture of the walrus in it.
Oh, walrus?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, I have to call up MGM and tell them that the deal is okay. Say, that's funny. There's a woman talking on the other end of the phone.
Oh, let me listen. Oh, it's my mother. She's still on the phone. I forgot to tell her to hang up. You can hang up, Mother. Goodbye.
Mr. Burns, you want to hear my song now?
Well, yeah, you can start, kid, but I've got to make a phone call. I'll be right in. Operator, get me MGM Studios. Oh, Jimmy, that was swell. Now you can run back to the grocery store and close up.
Not tonight.
Oh, I bet you're going out tonight.
Yeah.
With a girl?
Yeah.
Nice?
It reminds me of my mother.
Who is she?
My sister.
Goodbye, Jimmy.
Oh, George, did you get MGM on the phone?
Oh, yes, and Irving Asher, the producer, is coming over in 20 minutes with a contract for Gracie to sign.
Well, gee, that's wonderful, George. It sounds exciting.
Well, it is.
Imagine Jimmy Cash going out with his sister.
Gracie, I'm talking about the picture.
Oh, that's wonderful, too.
Wonderful, and what a part that Mrs. North is. She's in every scene. She talks for hours. She says the silliest, staffiest, dumbest, craziest things you ever heard in your life.
I'm not going to do it.
It's one of the greatest, the most... You're not going to do it?
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get on that screen and say a lot of silly things. I want to act natural.
Act natural?
Well, certainly. I'm not going to have people laugh at me.
Look, Gracie...
It's the trouble with Hollywood. They miscast everybody. Like I saw a picture called Tom Harmon of Michigan, all about a football player. And the fellow who played the part of Tom Harmon wasn't the type at all.
The part was played by Tom Harmon.
Oh, now you see, he got the job because he was a relative.
Gracie, I've listened to you talk for years and years, and you say less than any woman I know.
That's why I can't play the part of Mrs. North. I don't talk enough.
That's because the days are getting shorter.
And then again, I don't believe that being quiet should be carried to extremes like some people do. Like I met a woman at the club last week, and I chatted with her just to be polite. And all the time I was with her, she didn't even say one word. But on the other hand...
Gracie, who was this woman?
Billy Burke. But on the other hand...
Billy Burke?
Yes.
Yeah, a regular sphinx.
Oh, please, George. She's one of my dearest friends.
Gracie, this is a great part.
Not going to do it.
Hilda!
Yeah, I'm bringing the aspirin.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yes. Bill, you're a smart fella. Why don't you talk to Gracie?
Because I'm a smart fella.
Thanks.
Here's the aspirin.
Oh, Hilda, how's your boyfriend Olaf? You know, the one who always says hut.
Please, Bill, now, Gracie, this is...
Not going to do it.
Oh, I don't go around with Olaf anymore.
No?
No, you know, he was so bashful that he never even kissed me on the forehead.
Oh, well, don't let that worry you, Hilda. I went around with George for 3 years before he kissed me on the forehead, and then he went back to kissing me on the lips again.
Yeah, that's because you started wearing bangs. Anyway, listen, Gracie...
Not going to do it.
Mrs. Burns, I'm sorry. I had an accident. I tore one of your towels in half.
Oh, well, that's all right, Hilda.
Gracie, will you listen to me?
Not going to do it. So, Hilda, you gave up Olaf, huh?
Oh, yeah, I had to give him up. I couldn't understand him. He spoke with a dialect.
Well, who's your boyfriend now?
He's in the kitchen. I will call him. Come in, sweetheart.
Sí, mi vida, ¿qué quiere mi pedazo de caramelo?
Well, that's all I needed. It's Senor Lee. You're Hilda's sweetheart?
Hutsut.
Oh, go with that hutsut.
Senor Burns, don't be a grouch. I like to see a man with a smile on his face. In your case, I would even settle for a face.
Look, Senor Lee, Olaf happens to be Hilda's childhood sweetheart.
I have thought it all out, Senor Burns, and the voice inside of me says, Senor Lee, you are a rat if you take Hilda away from Olaf.
Well?
Squeak, squeak.
Lee, you're not the guy for Hilda. She's just a nice, plain girl.
So what? What has Hedy Lamarr got that she hasn't got?
Well, nothing.
Boy, do you need glasses.
Hilda, take him back in the kitchen. Gracie, Mrs. North is a great part.
I'm not going to do it.
Gonna...
Oh, it's Paul Whiteman. Hello, Paul.
Oh, hello, Paul.
Hello, everybody.
Gee, Paul, you've taken off some weight.
Yes, and I've got to take 10 more inches off my waistline.
Really? Why?
So I can get close enough to the table to reach the food.
Well, you look great, Paul. Just drag up a loading platform and sit down. Gracie, the producer is going to be here.
Not going to do it.
Look, honey, don't think that I'm trying to bribe you. But you know that beautiful caracal coat that we saw at Magnan's? The one you like so much?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd like to see you buy it.
Well, then you should have been with me yesterday.
Look, Gracie, MGM doesn't offer these pots.
Not going to do
No,
it.
I'm not going to.
Hey, I hate to change the tempo, but when I was here yesterday, I left a gold locket on the table. It was for Mrs. Whiteman. It's her birthday today. May I have it?
Oh, so that's the locket Gracie was talking about. Paul, was that your locket?
Yes, my picture was in it.
Oh, yes, the walrus. Gracie, where's the locket?
You mean the locket?
Yes, the locket.
You mean the gold locket?
Yeah, the gold locket. Where's the locket?
Well, you never can tell when something might be missing, and if it is, I didn't do it.
Gracie, don't...
Say, today is my wife's birthday. Don't tell me it's lost.
Well, it isn't exactly lost. What happened was, I was sitting and knitting some backless sweaters for soldiers, and all of a sudden...
Backless sweaters?
Well, yes, they asked me to knit sweaters for the boys at the front.
Gracie, what about the locket?
Well, I'm coming to that. And all of a sudden, a burglar climbed through the window.
A burglar?
Oh, yes, the town's full of burglars. They're here for a convention, I guess.
Yes, I read about it in the papers.
You did?
Yes.
Then you believe this story?
Oh, sure I do.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Wait till you hear the finish. A burglar came in a half an hour ago, took the locket, hit me on the head, and I was unconscious for 5 hours.
You were,
Why, Gracie, according to that story, you'd be unconscious right now.
That's right. That's why I think she's telling the truth. Gracie, where's the locket?
Oh, I'm awfully sorry, Paul. I thought George left that locket there as a surprise for me.
Well, where is it?
Well, you know that antique shop around the corner?
Yes.
I traded it in.
You traded it in?
But, Gracie, how could you think it was your locket? Didn't you see P.W. engraved on it?
Well, yeah, but, Paul, I thought the engraver had an impediment in his speech and pronounced my name Tracy Wallen.
Tracy Wallen? Well, anyway, what did you trade the locket for? I mean the locket. What did you trade it for?
Well, I traded it in for this musical powder box. Look.
But that locket was an heirloom.
Yes, but this musical powder box is a genuine antique. It's 150 years old, and when you lift up the lid, it plays music. Listen.
Oh, Daddy. 150 years old?
Yeah, an old daddy.
An old daddy, huh? Close it. Close it.
Come on, Gracie. Let's go over to the antique shop and get my locket back.
All right, Paul, let's go.
But, Gracie, the producer is coming with the contract.
I won't do it.
Gracie, you're staying in the house.
I won't do it.
Gracie, you're staying here.
I won't do it.
You will.
I won't.
You will.
I won't.
You will.
I won't.
You will.
I won't.
You will. Well, this is great. A producer from MGM is coming to our house, and here we are in front of an antique shop.
Oh, now, boys, I better go in alone. If we all go in, he might think the locket's very valuable, and even though it's worth nothing, he might double the price. And double nothing is $64, and it's certainly not worth $64, so I think the best thing for me to do is to go by myself.
Now go in, and if you're not out in 2 minutes, I'm coming in to get you.
All right. Now, don't go away.
Oh.
How do you do, madam? Aren't you the lady who swapped the locket for a musical powder box?
Well, yes, and I'd like to swap it back for the locket.
Oh, gladly. But can I keep the picture inside?
Do you like it?
Oh, yes. It'll make a wonderful design for a poker chip.
Oh, well, here's your powder box. Will you wrap up the locket?
Gladly.
Oh, my, you have lovely things here. Isn't this adorable? A statue of a woman with a clock in the center of her forehead.
Madam, this is an exact reproduction of Venus de Milo.
Oh, the poor thing. She has no arms. How does she keep the clock wound?
Well, I couldn't say. My partner will be back later.
Well, wrap it up.
Gladly. Well, here's your locket all wrapped up in a little box for you.
Oh, thank you.
Gladly. Who's that?
Oh, that's my husband knocking on the window. If he thinks I'm going home to sign that movie contract, he's crazy. I'll stay here all day, even if I have to buy the whole store.
You mean you've got a chance to be a movie star and you don't want to?
I should say not. If I'm a movie star, I'd have to put my footprints in cement in front of the Chinese theater.
Well?
Well, if I got lost in the woods, then no one could find me because I wouldn't have any footprints.
Yes, I see. Well, here's your clock, madam.
Here they come.
Gracie, what's taking you so long?
Well, I just bought the prettiest clock. Here, hold it.
All right, Gracie, the producer is waiting.
I'm not going to do it. Here, George, put this little box in your pocket.
But, Gracie...
Oh, mister, what a beautiful vase.
Oh, fine.
That's an antique.
You'd never know it.
Well, the older they are, the more valuable they become.
You know, if I were you, mister, I'd get a younger clerk in here so it'll make your antiques look older.
Now, look,
Gracie, I'd like to give that locket to my wife for her 27th birthday. And that happens to be today.
Oh, really, Paul? Well, you ought to buy her a present.
Gracie, we've got to get home.
Not going to do it.
Madam, that vase you admired is a genuine Ming vase.
Ming vase. Wrap it up.
Gladly.
And, George, you'll have to buy me a coat to match it.
Oh, a Ming coat.
Yeah.
I thought so, yeah.
Oh, and my, what a beautiful antique bed. I must go over and see it.
George, you'll never get her home to sign the contract.
Well, what can I do, Bill?
You better do something. I'd like to give that locket to my wife for her 35th birthday.
Well, I'm trying to get it, but I keep getting sidetracked.
Well, don't let yourself get sidetracked. Now, you see, George, nobody sidetracks me. When
I know, Bill. I heard it. I was here all the time. Now, look, I've got to get Gracie home to sign that contract. Look, Gracie.
I'm not going to do it. What did you say that bed was?
Well, this is great.
It's genuine antique. Why, George Washington slept in this bed. And so did Thomas Jefferson. And so did James Monroe.
Who slept in the middle?
In the middle?
Wrap it up.
Gladly.
Gracie, please get that locket. I'd like to give it to my wife on her 48th birthday.
Gracie, the producer
I'm
is...
not going to do it, mister. What's on the third shelf?
That's dust.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Quiet. Look, mister, I've had enough of this.
Well, look who's here. Hello. Oh, it's Elsie Myers, who lives across the street from us. Hello, Elsie. Hello, Gertrude. My name is Gracie.
Oh, yeah, I must remember that. Say, Gracie, is that big antique moose head yours?
Yeah, we've been married for years.
I knew that barber gave me a bum haircut.
Well, I just dropped in to get an ashtray for my husband. What's his name?
Frank.
Oh, yeah, I must remember that.
Gracie, get that locket. I've got to get home with it before May Robeson leaves me.
Now, I'm going to settle this. Mister, where's that locket that my wife traded?
Why, I gave it to her a half hour ago.
You did?
Gladly.
Gracie, where's the locket?
I gave it to you. It's in your pocket.
In my pocket?
Gladly.
Gladly. Look. Well, come on. Let's go. Oh, here it is. Here it is, Paul.
Oh, goodbye. Oh, Elsie, you remember Bill Goodwin. You met him last week.
Oh, yes, he sells duck soup.
Swan soap.
Yeah, must remember that.
Well, come on. Let's go.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, boys.
Bye.
Well, come on, Gracie. Let's hurry home. I hope that producer is still here.
Come in, Senor Burns.
Hey, Lee, why are you opening the door? Where's Hilda?
She's upstairs putting my clothes in the guest room.
You're going to live here?
Why not? If you can stand this house, I can.
Hey, Lee, is there a man in here waiting for me?
He left a half hour ago.
I knew this would happen. Now, the whole deal is probably off.
George, would you like some homemade cookies from the May Company?
No. After working for weeks trying to get you that part, and such a great part, and such a great picture, and such a great story. You...
Hello? Who? Yes?
Who was that?
Mr. Lasvogel.
Oh, that snoopy neighbor who's always looking in our windows. Gracie, hang up.
What? Oh, thank you very much. Goodbye. George, Mr. Lasvogel said that the man who was here smoked 2 of your cigars and left a note on the piano.
That guy knows everything. Always looking in our windows. Say, Gracie, look at this. Dear George, I waited as long as I could, but we'll be back tomorrow to have Gracie sign contract. Mrs. North will be a wonderful part for Gracie.
Not going to do it.
I know that it's a perfect part for her because all Gracie has to do is be herself. Signed, Irving Asher.
Be myself? Well, that's different. Now I'll do it.
I thought so, yeah.
Well, I thought they wanted me to play a dizzy dame like Betty Davis and the Little Foxes.
Betty Davis and the Little Foxes is a dizzy dame?
Well, sure, any dame that would kill Herbert Marshall must be dizzy.
Well, I guess so.
Hello?
Oh, hello, Gracie. This is Mrs. Whiteman.
Ask her how she liked the locket.
How did you like the locket Paul gave you?
Well, I traded it in.
Well, I don't blame you. For what?
Listen.
Good night, folks.
Hello? Are you there? Well, we're here.
Swan, the new white floating soap, presents Paul Whiteman. Your Swanee announcer, Bill Goodwin.
Our singer, Jimmy Cash.
And here are the stars of our show, George Burns and Gracie Allen.
George, how many lumps do you want in your coffee?
2. Thanks.
Is there anything interesting in the paper today, or is it just news?
Just news.
Say, you're lucky to have the paper. Mr. Lasvogel's dog is always chewing it up.
I wish that snoopy neighbor would keep his dog away from here.
Yesterday morning, he bit little Orphan Annie in the funny section.
Well, he better not bite Superman.
How many lumps do you want in your coffee?
2. Thanks.
George, did you take the little duck for a walk this morning?
Gracie, last week that duck hunting trip cost me plenty. And I just as soon not have that web-footed headache around here.
Oh, he's so cute. He even comes when I call him. Here, ducky, ducky, ducky.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here.
Oh, now you frightened him.
Frightened him? I'd like to fricassee him.
Oh, no. Come here, little ducky. Oh, don't listen to that mean old daddy duck. Don't worry, little ducky. He's not really your daddy.
Well, that's a break for me, too.
George, how many lumps?
2. Thanks.
You know, little Henrietta understands every word we say.
Now the duck's name is Henrietta?
Yes.
Yesterday his name was Herman.
I didn't buy those eggs you had for breakfast.
Thanks, Henrietta.
Now, you see how smart she is, George. She can spell, too. Go on, Henrietta, spell cat. There you are, C-A-T, period.
Nice spelling. Okay, I'll take that silly duck out for a walk again.
But you haven't had your coffee yet, George. How many lumps?
2. Thanks. Oh, boy. This coffee is awful.
Why, what's the trouble?
Too cold. Come on, Henrietta, let's go. Hello, Bill.
Hello, George.
Gracie's inside. I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, a duck with a harness on. Are you kidding?
Come on, Henrietta. Come on.
Well, I still can't believe this. Gracie, look at him through the window. Doesn't he walk with the cutest waddle?
Well, sure, that's why I married him.
You know, that's the most ridiculous sight I've ever seen. A grown man walking down the street with a duck on a leash. People must think he's crazy.
Oh, Bill, I'm certainly glad you got here. I'm in a terrible mess, and I need help.
Well, Gracie, what is it?
I got a letter from a boy who used to be my sweetheart when I went to school, and I'm afraid to show it to George. You know how jealous he is.
Oh, well, that's nothing. I'll fix it. Hey, George.
Yeah, Bill.
Come in here, will you?
Why didn't I try the duck to this fence?
Now, don't worry, Gracie. Leave everything to me.
All right.
What is it, Bill?
Say, George, you're a smart fella. Now, if Paul Whiteman's wife, say, got a letter from a boy who used to be her sweetheart when she went to school, what do you think he ought to do about it?
Why, nothing. That's kid stuff.
Okay, Gracie, read the letter.
What? A letter?
Dear Gracie, I'll be in town today, and we'll phone you before I drop in and see you. We haven't seen each other since our school days, and it might be fun. Signed, Keith Fowler. P.S. Remember that rainy afternoon?
Gracie, what happened that rainy afternoon?
It rained.
What happened after that?
It cleared up.
Who is this fellow?
Keith Fowler?
Yeah, Keith Fowler, yeah.
My girlhood sweetheart. Oh, George, he was wonderful. I'll never forget the day I met him. Such old world charm, so devil-may-care, so smooth, handsome, yet intensely masculine.
How old was he?
6.5.
6.5?
Yes, but he had the mind of a boy of 7.
Well, what am I getting excited about?
Sure, and you were worried about that rainy afternoon.
When Keith was 19.
19?
Yes, and boy, oh boy, was he an athlete.
Oh, he was an athlete, huh?
Yeah, well, you know where you have that vaccination mark on your arm?
Yeah.
That's where he has muscles.
Oh, yeah? Well, what's wrong with my arm? Look at it.
Oh, that reminds me. I better tell Hilda to make some spaghetti for dinner.
Spaghetti? Oh, fine.
Hilda!
Say, Bill.
Yes, George.
Look, now that Gracie is gone, you can do me a favor.
Yeah.
When this Fowler guy gets here, and if he starts talking about athletics, I know nothing about it. So will you please change the subject?
Well, George, that would be very rude.
Well, you can do it subtly. For instance, I'll show you. Go ahead, start talking about athletics.
Well, okay. Well, now take Greg Rice of Notre Dame. There's an athlete. There's a fella.
Say, Bill, where'd you get that suit?
Oh, you like it, huh?
Well, I don't like it, but I changed the subject, didn't I?
Well, gee, George, you did at that.
George, did anybody drop in, say, like, for instance, Keith Fowler?
Gracie, don't mention that man's name.
Oh, George, don't get upset. Keith is just a boy I went through school and high school with. I did have a crush on him, but so many things started to happen that I lost track of him.
Well, what kind of thing?
Oh, just awful, terrible things. My father went bankrupt, we lost our home, then we had to move to another city, then we were dispossessed.
Just one calamity after another.
Yeah, then I married you.
Well, I've heard enough. I'm going up to my room.
Did I say anything wrong? George! George! George, will you please come down? Oh, isn't he silly locking himself up in his room? Oh, on account of Keith Fowler.
Say, Gracie, what really happened on that rainy afternoon?
Well, I'll tell it to you, Bill, if you promise not to tell George.
Well, I promise.
Well, what happened was... here comes George. I'll tell you later. I wouldn't upset him for the world, so don't even mention Keith.
All right.
That's a pretty tune you're whistling, Keith. Yeah.
Keith!
I mean...
Now, look here, Gracie. If you think for one moment that I give a rap about that silly love affair you had in school, you're crazy.
Well, no wonder you're upset. You didn't have your coffee this morning. Hilda, bring Mr. Burns some coffee.
calling me Keith?
Oh, stop pouting. Stop throwing rubbish out the window.
It's not rubbish. I'm throwing some bricks at the dock. You're welcome.
George, you're getting excited for no reason at all. This is something you've built up in your own head, and there's really nothing in it.
Sure, I'm wrong. I'm always wrong. Everybody is right except me.
Hello? Well? Oh, sure, I'll be glad to. Goodbye.
What is that? Why did you open the window?
Mr. Laskogel said he couldn't hear the fight.
Well, this is fine. Where's my coffee?
Sabes que Hilda está ocupada en la cocina, por eso me mandó...
Senor Lee, I told you to stay away from this house. And if that Hilda keeps on letting you in here, I'm going to fire her.
That is no way to talk about a girl who is out there right now working her fingers to the bone, washing shirts and socks and handkerchiefs.
Gracie, she shouldn't do all that washing.
You want me to go around dirty?
Another word out of you and out you go.
Senor Burns, you should hold your tongue. And it is always outward you can grab it.
Well, get back in the kitchen.
Qué barbaridad con este cara de chango, no voy a poder estar en
Well, someday I'm going to buy a Spanish dictionary to find out what that guy is saying.
George, come here.
What is it, Bill?
Now, listen, don't get upset. Keith Fowler mentioned in his letter that he's going to phone before he gets here, you see? Well, as soon as the phone rings, I'll answer it and get rid of him.
Oh, well, thanks, Bill. That'll be great. Okay. Gracie, forget the whole thing. I'm not mad anymore. It's all over.
I knew I'd see it my way.
Bill,
Gracie,
take the phone.
I'll take the phone.
All right.
Hello? What? Who? Oh, sure, we're expecting you. Come right over.
Why, you double-crossing...
It's Jimmy Cash.
Oh.
Oh, so, George, you're not mad anymore, huh?
No, I wasn't mad. I was only kidding. I can hardly wait to meet Keith. Isn't that right, Bill?
Yeah, he'll get a big kick out of George.
He certainly will.
George, you like Keith. He was not only the best athlete in school, he also had a beautiful singing voice. Every day when he walked me home from school, he'd sing Yippee-Ki-Yay to me. I lived 3.5 courses from school.
3.5 courses, huh?
Well, it was really a little further. He used to hold the last note.
Yippee-Ki-Yay. That's my favorite song, too.
Oh, and George, you're really not angry about what happened that rainy afternoon?
Yeah, probably nothing.
Oh, of course it was nothing.
Sure. Gracie, it really makes no difference if you feel like telling me, all right, but what really happened that rainy afternoon?
Well, I promised Keith not to tell.
But, Gracie, I'm your husband.
But it isn't fair to break a promise, George. You wouldn't like it if you were my sweetheart.
If I were your sweetheart. Gracie, don't ever speak to me again.
Say, George, would you like some sugar for your coffee?
Bill, tell her I don't want any.
Gracie, George said to tell you he doesn't want any.
Well, tell him he's not going to get any.
George, Gracie said to tell you you're not going to get any.
Well, tell her thanks.
Gracie, George said to tell you thanks.
Oh, tell him welcome.
George, Gracie said to tell you welcome.
Here comes Whiteman up the front steps.
Hey, ouch, my God. What's the matter, Paul? That duck out there just bit me on the ankle. Oh, now, don't be silly. A duck has no teeth. Well, I don't want to be gummed to death by no duck.
Hello, Paul.
Say, Bill, will you tell Mr. Burns to tell Mr. Whiteman not to say such mean things about poor little Henrietta?
Sure, George. Gracie said to tell
I heard her, Bill. And tell Mrs. Burns she can tell Mr. Whiteman herself.
Okay, Gracie, George said to tell you.
Yeah, I know, Bill. And, Bill, tell Mr. Burns to ask Mr. Whiteman to sit down.
George,
never mind, Bill, never mind. Mr. Whiteman wants to sit down. He's smart enough to figure it out for himself.
Hey, what's going on? Are you kids playing? Are you playing a message from Reuters?
Well, we are acting like a bunch of kids. Bill, tell Gracie I'd like to kiss and make up.
Hey, wait a minute. I want to get in this game, too. Bill, you tell it to me, and I can tell it to Gracie.
Oh, shut up.
I'll let him play, George.
Oh.
Paul, George told me to tell you to tell Gracie that he'd like to kiss and make up. Gracie, George told Bill to tell me to tell you that he'd like to kiss and make up.
Would you mind repeating that question?
You heard him. I told Bill to tell Paul to tell you that I'd like to kiss and make up.
All right. Then you kiss Paul, and Paul, you kiss Bill, and Bill, you can kiss me.
Gracie, don't ever speak to me again.
What did I do now? George!
Say, here comes Jimmy Cash up the walk.
Gee. Hello, Jimmy.
Ouch, that duck must be a wash duck. You too, huh?
Oh, wait a minute. I know what we'll do. Let's have Jimmy sing a song, and that'll soothe George's nerves.
Hey, you know that's a great idea, Gracie. George! George, come on down. Jimmy Cash is here. He's going to sing a song.
Well, maybe I was acting like a kid. Go ahead, Jim. Now, look here, Jimmy Cash. If you think that was a smart thing to do...
Bye.
It's a good thing he's gone. Where's Gracie?
Well, she went to her room.
See, I brought this whole thing on myself. She's probably in there crying her eyes out. Somebody ought to punch me in the nose. Wait a minute, fellas. It's only an expression. Gee, I didn't mean to hurt Gracie's feelings. Hey, Bill, that's probably that guy.
Well, don't worry, George. Leave it to me.
Well, just brush him off.
Yeah. Oh, hello? You're right, George. It's the rainy afternoon.
Well, brush him off.
Okay, don't worry. Yes? No, they're not home.
Attaboy, Bill.
How do I know when they're coming back? Maybe never.
Attaboy, Bill.
No, I'm not her ugly husband.
Well, hang up on him, Bill. Hang up.
I tell you I'm not. I'm Bill Goodwin.
Well, just hang up on him, Bill.
I tell you what, look, old man, if you're not doing anything right now, come on over and I'll tell you more about it. Yeah. So long, pal.
Well, didn't I tell you I didn't want that fellow in my house? When that Keith Fowler gets here, I'll break him in two. All I'll be listening now is to quarterbacks and fullbacks and broad jumping and hurdling.
Pardon me, Senor Burns. I came to get the dishes.
George, you want to do something that'll take the wind out of that Fowler sails?
Yes.
All you've got to do is, when he gets here, is to tear a telephone book in half.
But, Paul, I can't tear a telephone book in half.
How about one from Glendale?
Oh, stop being funny.
Perdóname, Senor Burns. If you want to get strong quick, here's a wonderful exercise I read about.
I'm not interested.
It is easy. Look. First, I stand perfectly straight. Now, I lift my left leg out in front of me like this. Now, I bring my right leg up beside it like this. Ow! Now that I think of it, that was an arm exercise.
Well, crawl back into the kitchen.
Hey, George, listen, Paul may have a pretty good idea with that telephone book. You see, get a razor blade and cut all the pages down the center except the cover.
Yeah, and that Fowler will think I can really tear it in half.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go get a phone book.
Well, good, but don't let him see you.
When he comes, I'll get right behind this curtain.
Okay. As much as I'll enjoy showing off in front of this guy, I still feel like a heel with Gracie up in her room, broken-hearted, crying her little heart out.
Well, how do I look in my new dress?
What's the idea of getting all dressed up?
Oh, am I? Oh, I didn't notice it.
Not much.
Well, I just happened to put my hand in my closet, and this little old thing kind of stuck to my fingers.
Gracie, what happened on that rainy afternoon?
Well, I'll tell you what happened on that rainy afternoon if you promise not to ask me what happened on the day it snowed.
Gee, maybe I'd rather hear what happened on the day it snowed.
Well, I'll tell you if you don't ask me what happened on the day it rained.
Well, all right. What happened on the day it snowed?
The same thing that happened on the day it rained, except I had my galoshes on.
Well, this is great.
How's the weather, George?
Foggy, 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 foggy.
Say, here comes someone up the walk.
Say,
Brother,
Paul.
what a pair of shoulders.
Really? Paul, are you finished cutting that phone book?
Not yet, George. I'm only up to the Clancy's.
Oh, well, hurry up.
Keith Fowler.
Well, Gracie Allen. You're a sight for sore eyes.
Oh, Keith, so are you. After all these years. Well, it's certainly a pleasure to see you. This is Bill Goodwin.
Oh, yes. We had a word or two on the phone. Yes, we did.
And that's Mr. Whiteman behind the curtain.
Hello. Hello.
And this is my husband, George Burns.
How do you do? How do you do? By the way, Miss Burns, what business are you in?
The radio business.
Well, I'm glad to know that. If any of my friends ever need their radio repaired, I'll certainly recommend you.
Thanks.
Well, Keith, see, you certainly brings back old times. Remember Mrs. Mumble?
Will you ever forget how I used to carry your encyclopedias back and forth to school for you, and I'd sing Yippee-Ki-Yay over the top of them?
Oh, yes. Remember Mrs. Mumble?
Encyclopedia?
Oh, I kept my lunch in them. Remember Mrs. Mumble?
You kept your lunch in them?
Yeah, butter under B, cheese under Ch, jelly under J, and pie under K. Remember Mrs. Mumble?
Pie under K?
I was crazy about custard pie. Remember Mrs. Mumble?
Look, tell her about Mrs. Mumble.
I don't remember Mrs. Mumble. Who was she?
Why, Keith. She's the man who owned the corner drugstore's girlfriend.
Oh, sure. Oh, fine.
Oh, Keith, I notice you're still wearing all those medals you won.
Well, not all. I've still got a drawer full at home.
Stop being so modest.
Mr. Burns, I don't think you know anything about athletics, but I was really an amazing athlete. As a matter of fact, I broke the world record for a 100-yard dash in 9 4/5.
Well, who held the record before that?
I did.
Of course, Mr. Fowler, you know that the record now is 9 2/5.
Oh, you mean the one I ran in Omaha?
Well, I don't know much about running, but would you like to see me tear a telephone book?
George, not yet. I'm only up to the Smiths.
Well, I'll do it a little later.
Remember, Gracie, when you got that glamour girl complex and you tried to vamp all the boys?
Oh, yes. And remember the day I came to school with a rose in my teeth?
You look pretty silly.
Well, I guess I should have taken the rose off the bush.
Well, it's been a lot of fun seeing you, Gracie, but I really got to run along.
Look, say, Fowler, before you go, would you like to see me tear a telephone book?
Not yet, George. I'm still with the Smiths.
The Smiths. Well, forget it, Paul.
Well, goodbye, Keith, and you certainly must come again.
I will.
Say, Fowler, look, before you go, there's just one thing I'd like to ask you. Man to man, what happened on that rainy afternoon?
Gracie, remember that.
I'll never forget it.
Well, goodbye.
Quiet. What happened on that rainy afternoon?
Oh, tell him, Gracie. You told me.
Well, we came to a big puddle of water. Keith took off his shoes, and I carried him across piggyback.
Now, what's so funny about that?
Well, his toes tickled my ribs.
Well, I acted like a big dope, and I really owe you an apology.
Oh, that's all right, Keith. Forget it.
Keith! Gracie, never speak to me again.
Well, what did I say now? George!
Hello? Are you there? Well, we're here.
Swan, the new white floating soap, presents Paul Whiteman. Your Swanee announcer, Bill Goodwin.
Our singer, Jimmy Cash.
And here are the stars of our show, George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Now we take you to their home where we find Gracie in the kitchen having a talk with Martha, the new cook.
I hope you like it here, Martha. George, that's my husband. He's very easy to please, and he says I'm very simple, too. I know I like it here, ma'am. Well, that's a good girl. How old are you, Martha? Just 17, ma'am. My, that's young. But, of course, when I was 17, I wasn't any older than you are. Well, I sure hope I'll give satisfaction, man. You know, I ain't a very fancy cook. No, you're not. But I always say it's more important to have an honest face. Oh, everybody says my spirits are good. Well, that's nice. And it's important to be healthy, too. Oh, and by the way... Oh, I'll answer it, Martha. Hello? Who? Yes. Oh, you sound just like my sister Bessie. Oh, you are my sister Bessie. Ah, well, now guess who this is? No. 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 Give up? Well, this is Gracie. How's Mama? Well, that's good. And Papa? You don't care to discuss Papa? You mad at him? What happens every time you bring a new fellow to the house? Oh, Papa gives him permission to marry you before the boy gets his hat off? Oh, well, that's Papa. You remember the first time George came to dinner at our house? Papa said to him, Mr. Burns, do you intend to remain single, or would you like another piece of roast beef? And George was so hungry we announced our engagement immediately. Well, I know, Bessie, but you can't be so choosy. You'll be 26 for only a few more years. Honestly, Papa gave you 3 presents for Christmas? What were they? Oh, a hope chest, a bridal veil, and a bear trap. Oh, well, wear them in good health, Bessie. Oh, and thanks for calling. Goodbye.
Mrs. Burns, this is my first day as your cook, and I'd like to know if Mr. Burns likes lots of seasoning in his food.
Oh, by all means, Martha. So when you wash the vegetables, be sure to use plenty of bath salt.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you go right ahead with your work, Martha. I'm going in to see if Herman is through with his lunch. Here, I told George to oil that kitchen door. Hello, Herman. Oh, are you all finished with your lunch, Herman? That's good. Why, Herman Burns, you didn't. Oh, but spinach is good for you, Herman. I only give it to you because you must have iron in your system. No, I mean iron that gives you strength, not iron like in buckshot. Spinach is what builds muscles, Herman. Have you ever seen Daddy George's muscles? So you've seen them, huh? But look what spinach does for Popeye. Popeye. Oh, Herman, sometimes I think you don't listen when I read you the funnies on Sunday. Well, Popeye is a big, tough sailor, remember? Popeye. When Popeye gets in trouble, he just eats a great big bowl of spinach. And then he beats up all the villains, and that's why his sweetheart loves him. And Herman, wouldn't you like to have a girl love you? Oh, it's the door. Now, Herman, when I get back here, I want every drop of that finished. Oh, hello, Bill. Hello, Jimmy.
Hello. Hello, Gracie. Where's George?
I sent him out to play golf for his health.
Oh, I see.
He doesn't know it, but the doctor told me that greens are good for him.
I see. Well, tell him we just dropped in on our way to the post office. Jimmy is sending his girl a present.
Jimmy, you must like this girl.
Yes, ma'am.
He's crazy about it.
Yes, ma'am.
How much do you love her, Jimmy?
Well, how much does he love her? Why, Gracie, when she buys root beer at his grocery store, she doesn't have to leave any deposit on the bottle.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my Jimmy Cash, you're a regular Romeo.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we better run along now, Gracie. We're on our way to the post office.
Oh, that reminds me. I've got to mail this package, too.
Gee, that's a beautiful package, all wrapped in pink cellophane with a big blue bow. What's in it?
2 dozen rocks.
Rock?
Yes, for a friend of mine who has a rock garden.
Oh. Yeah, well, that's a nice, inexpensive gift.
Yeah, I found them in my backyard, but she'll never know it. I pasted a Saks Fifth Avenue label on every rock.
Well, goodbye, Gracie. Come on, Jimmy.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, Herman, all you've been doing is playing with that spinach. Don't you like it? Now, you eat it. It's good for you. It'll put feathers on your chest. Oh, maybe I put too much sugar in it. Let me see if I can find some lemon. Oh, here's something in this bottle that says lemon mint. Rubbing lemon. Oh. Now, there you are. I poured it all in. Now try it, Herman. and you fly right up to your room and stay there. I don't care if I did hurt his feelings. Oh, dear, now it's the door. Mother's Day is never done.
Hello, sweetheart.
Oh, hello.
What a game of golf.
Did you beat UFC again?
Yeah, 3 weeks in a row. Boy, I'm starved.
We have a new cook, George. She's just 17 years old, and her name is Martha, and she comes from Nebraska, and she's 5'3", and she likes Ronald Coleman pictures.
Can she cook?
Oh, darn it, I knew there was something I forgot to ask you.
Well, it doesn't matter, as long as she knows what kind of movie she likes. Gracie, isn't there something to eat?
Yeah, but it'll spoil your dinner. And besides, we have to go to the post office to mail this package.
Well, I can't wait for dinner. I'm going to eat this spinach. Oh, what's in the spinach? It's simply awful.
Oh, George Burns, you're just like your son Herman. You go right up to your
My son
room.
Herman, Gracie, I told you about
And now we pick up George, Gracie, and the package at the post office. And if parcel post is 12 cents a pound, George has got a fortune on his hands.
Gracie, both my arms are going to sleep. Honestly, this package feels like it has rocks in it. I wish this line would move a little faster.
George Burns, don't you dare criticize the post office. Why, I honestly believe that if it wasn't for the post office, we wouldn't get half of our mail.
Gracie, I'm not complaining about the post office.
Well, you better not. Look up there on that wall. See what it says? Neither rain nor snow nor sleet nor gloom of night shall save these couriers from the completion of their appointed rounds. That's the motto of the California Post Office.
That's the motto of all post offices.
You mean they have that kind of weather in other places, too?
Well, let's forget it. The post office is a wonderful place, but this package weighs a ton, and there are still 8 people ahead of me in this line.
Oh, look, that window over there is opening up. Hurry, George. We'll be the first in line. Come on, George.
Who's first?
I am. I'd like to mail this package.
Oh, this one is for money orders. Next.
I'd like to get a money order.
Oh, fine. I better get back to that line again. Pardon me, miss. Wasn't I standing in this line?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Right in front of you?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Then I'll get back there.
That would surprise me.
But look,
You can't talk to my husband that way. If you have anything to say to my husband, tell it to me and I'll tell it to him.
Well, tell him to get to the end of the line.
George, get to the end of the line.
I was standing right here.
Back there.
Get back there.
Get back in line.
Well, I guess they want me to get back to the end of the line. Well, come on, Gracie. Come on.
Well, don't worry, George. After I tell the superintendent what happened, he'll put that woman in her place. Then you can stand in front of her.
Well, thanks.
Oh, look out, George. You get hit by that mail truck.
That isn't a mail truck.
Oh, no. Oh, hello, Paul.
Hello, kid.
Well, kids, how'd you like to have some of these potato chips?
Always carrying food. Paul, you don't happen to have a tuna fish on White.
Oh, don't be silly, George. I don't carry everything with me. You'll have to take it on ride.
Okay, put a little mayonnaise on it if you're wearing your vest.
I'll see you later. I'm going over to buy $20 worth of stamps.
Well, here I am at the end of this line, and with this package is weighing me down. It's breaking my back.
Oh, I'm going to find the superintendent. I'll get you out of this line in 2 minutes if I have to talk to him all day.
Gracie, come back here.
Come back nothing. I'm going. Goodbye.
Oh,
pardon me. Oh, I'm sorry. I knocked your bundle down.
Oh, that's all right. I guess I shouldn't be in the post office this time of the year.
Now, I wonder where that superintendent can be.
Hello, Gracie.
Hello, Bill. Did you help Jimmy mail that package to his girl?
Oh, yes, he got it off all right. Gee, that Jimmy's a cute kid. He was so worried because he didn't know what to give his girl for Christmas.
Well, what did he finally give her?
Well, I don't know yet. He mailed her 250 box tops and told her to send in for what she wants.
Well, George gave me a beautiful bracelet for Christmas.
Well, Gracie, Christmas isn't until next week.
Well, I won't tell him he gave it to me until next week.
Where is he now?
Right over there in line. He's the one holding the bundle with the flannel patch.
Boy, he looks all in. If the line wasn't so close together, he'd fall down. Well, I'll see you later, Gracie.
You've got to find that superintendent. Oh, I've got an idea. George, come here.
Gracie, I'm second in line.
But I must see you before you get to the window.
Well, what is it?
When you get to the window, ask the man where the superintendent's office is.
Is that what you called me out of the line for?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry, mister, but I was standing in front of you.
Get back at the end of the line.
Well, I was standing right here.
Get back at the end of the line.
Get back. Get back.
Yeah, get back.
Come on. This bundle is so heavy it should be holding me. Well, here I am at the end of the line again.
Oh, well, now don't worry. I'll find that superintendent. I'll tell him a thing or two. Oh, pardon me. Oh. I'm terribly sorry. I suppose your bundle's again.
Oh, that's all right. I shouldn't be mailing all these gifts. My relatives hate me anyway.
Where could that superintendent be? Oh, this must be his window. There's a big crowd here. Oh, would you let me in, please? Just for a second. Mister, are you the superintendent?
No, I'm sorry. I can't help you. I'm busy selling defense stamps.
Selling them? Selling them? Well, you ought to be buying them. Everybody ought to be buying them.
Lady, you don't
You should
understand.
be ashamed of yourself, selling them. Don't you know how important defense stamps are and defense bonds?
But, madam,
Well, every dime, every dollar counts. The government's got to have money. But are you buying stamps? Are you buying bonds? No, you're selling them.
But, madam,
I buy stamps. I buy bonds. My friends all buy them. Everybody is buying them. But are you?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, well, good. Well, that's all I wanted to know. Now let me see. Oh, pardon me, madam, but do you know where the superintendent's office is?
I'm afraid not. I'm a stranger here.
Oh, really? Where are you from?
I'm from Waterbury.
Were you born there?
Yes.
Well, that's very interesting. Were you ever born in San Francisco?
How could I be born in San Francisco?
Well, it's easy. I was.
I'm sorry, miss, but I must be off.
Well, aren't we all?
Gracie, is George still in line?
Right there.
He is? Oh, gee, I better help him. George, I better hold that package for you before I have to hold you, too.
Thanks, Bill, but I'm next in line.
Well, here, give it to me and you stay in line.
Thanks.
Yes, sir, you're next.
I'd like to mail this package.
What package?
This Bill, let's have that package.
Just a minute, George. I'm busy talking to this lady.
Well, stop talking and bring me that package.
Come on, step out of line, please. Next.
Give me that package. I'm going to break you in two. Now I'm out of the line again.
Oh. All right, here you are.
Well, don't worry, George. I'll get your place back to you. Just let me talk to this fella. Hello, handsome.
You mean me?
Oh, yes. My, that's a pretty suit you have on.
Oh, gosh, I'm glad you like it.
And your hair is so nice and curly.
Oh, shucks.
In fact, I think you're awfully cute.
Oh, gee, thanks. But if you think your husband's getting back in this line, you're nuts.
But look here, mister, this was my place.
Get back.
Get back.
Get back. Get back. Get back. Get back. Please, get back.
Well, this is fine. There's a place for everything, and here I am again.
Well, now, George, you just stay right here. I'll find that superintendent if I have to do it myself.
Wait, lady.
You don't have to bump into me again. I'll save you the trouble. Pardon me for beating you to it.
Oh, well, it's really my fault. I should have bumped into you sooner. Say, mister, do you know where the superintendent is?
Right there, the man in the light suit.
Oh, thank you. George! George! I found the superintendent.
Gracie!
I'll be right back.
Gracie, come back here. This thing is driving me crazy. I just can't...
George, are you still in the same spot?
Yeah, Paul.
Well, see you later, kid. I gotta buy some stamps.
But, Paul, you just bought $20 worth.
I know, but when I started licking them, they tasted awful, so I put some orange marmalade on them.
Oh, fine.
Then they tasted so good that... Well, I gotta go buy some more stamps. So long.
Hope he doesn't get his tongue caught in the canceling machine.
George, come here.
I'm fourth in line, not me.
But this is the superintendent.
Yes, come here, Mr. Burns.
Yes, sir?
What's this about you getting me fired and suing the post office for damages?
I never said that.
Not only that, my husband will have you transferred to Glendale.
Gracie, please.
We'll see about that. Now, what's your complaint?
I've got no complaint. I'd just like to mail this package.
Then why aren't you in line?
I was in line. You just called me.
I didn't call you. You called me. Now get back to the end of the line.
The end of the line?
Yeah, get back. Get back. Get back. Get back. Get back. Get back.
Oh, come on, Gracie. Come on!
He's not going to get away with that.
Well, this is fine. I'm at the end of the line again.
Who does that superintendent think he is? I'm going to find the postmaster general.
Postmaster General, he's in Washington.
He is? Well, then you wait right here. I'll be right back.
Gracie, will you come back here?
Now, George and Gracie are back home after finally mailing the package. It cost $11 and 15 years off George's life.
Senor Lee would get back with that liniment. Can't move my arms. Gracie, instead of just standing there, why don't you rub my muscles?
George, I'm looking for them.
They're right here. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Quick, get my handkerchief out of my pocket.
Well, you're sitting on it.
Well, help me. Don't just stand there.
Well, don't worry. I'll think of something. Oh, I thought of something.
What?
God bless you.
Thanks.
Ya llegué con rendimiento para los músculos. Aquí traigo aquí.
Well, it's about time you got back. Senor Lee, did you get the liniment?
Si, senor. Here you are.
Well, I better run upstairs and get some flannels wrapped around your arms.
Senor Lee, where's the change for my $10?
Here it is. 30 cents.
30 cents? Liniment only cost a quarter.
Si, senor. Even I was surprised by the sales tax.
Do you expect me to believe that the sales tax was $9.45?
I would prefer it.
Well, I don't believe it. Where's that money?
I tell you the truth, Senor Burns. Outside, I met a poor old man. He looked so hungry, I gave him the money. I say, here, old man, for Christmas, buy something nice for your son. With tears in his eyes, he said, thank you, Carlos.
Carlos? How did he know your name?
My father shouldn't know my name?
Go on, get out of here.
Sí, como no, get out of here, get out of here. Es lo único que dicen aquí.
Gracie, come on down here.
All right, get away from the banister. Here I come. Whee! Look, I landed on my feet. Well, for a minute.
If there's any liniment left over, I'll let you have some.
Oh, look. Here comes Ethel Wilcox up the front steps.
You mean that absent-minded woman from across the street?
Here she is.
Oh, hello, Sandra.
Sandra? My name is Gracie.
Oh, yeah, I must remember that. Oh, my, your house looks pretty, Gracie. What a lovely old hat rack. Have you had it very long?
Well, I've been married to him for 15 years.
Oh, fine.
Say, I brought over a present for you, Gracie. Oh, now, where'd I put that thing?
Well, it's in your hand.
Oh, yes, so it is. Well, here you are. And a Merry...
Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I must remember that.
Well, thanks very much, Ethel. And I sent you a present today. I sent you some rocks for your rock garden.
Oh, thanks.
Rocks? Do you mean to say that I stood in the post office for hours with 40 pounds of rocks for somebody that lives across the street? Why couldn't I take them over myself?
That's the postman's job. That's what he gets paid for. Why should I let you carry a heavy package like that?
Give me the letter. Give me that letter.
Hello? Are you there? Well, we're here.
Swan, the new white floating soap, presents Paul Whiteman. Your Swanee announcer, Bill Goodwin.
Our singer, Jimmy Cash.
And here are the stars of our show, George Burns and Gracie Alice.
It's the new Burns and Alice show. And now we take you to their home the night before Christmas. The tree has been decorated, and George has gone to bed. Only Gracie and Herman, their little duck, are still downstairs in front of the fireplace.
Now, Herman, it's 11 o'clock, and it's time all good little ducks were fast asleep. Herman Burns, you go right to sleep. Well, all right. I'll tell you a bedtime story. Then will you go to sleep? Now, once upon a time, there was a little girl. She was very, very beautiful and very, very smart, and her name was Gracie. Well, one day she put on her red dress that she bought at Madison's and took a short cut through the woods to visit her grandmother. And on the way, she met a valiant prince. The valiant prince. He was awful strong and handsome like your daddy George. All right, he was awful strong. All right, so he was awful like your daddy. But when she got to her grandmother's, the wicked witch... Oh. Remember the night we went to the movies and saw Edna May Oliver? That's right. Anyway, the wicked witch ate up little Gracie's grandmother and went to bed without even washing the dishes. Yeah, she was very untidy. So they lived happily ever after. Now go to sleep. No, Herman, you're not going to get a double suture. Now go to sleep. And if you're a good little duck, your mama will take you way up to the North Pole to see Santa Claus. And the North Pole is way, well, it's so far that you couldn't even get up there without a magic carpet. Well, he finally fell asleep. Oh, I'm getting sleepy myself. Oh, Ted Herman, Santa Claus, the North Pole, magic carpet. Magic carpets are a little hard to get these days. Priorities, you know. Oh, look. There's a sign. North Pole, 3 million miles. We must be getting near Santa Claus's workshop. Oh, Ducky, you get your Christmas wish. Lots and lots of fish. Oh, Ducky, you're going to get the best of Santa Claus. Because, Ducky, he knows that you've been good like little Ducky should. Oh, Ducky, he'll make you happy when you sing. Oh, hold on, Herman. Santa Claus has quite a knack for making things you break your back for. He has a great big sack for all the toys that you could quack for. Ducky, you get a swimming pool to keep your feathers cool. Oh, ducky, you're mighty lucky, ducky walkie. Oh, look, there's Santa's workshop. Hold on, Herman. Oh, my goodness, I'll have to get the brakes on this carpet rewoven. Gee, it's quiet up here. Where's Santa Claus?
Here I am.
Oh, why are you crying? You can't see Santa Claus.
Oh, sure I am, Gracie. I'm Cliff Twinkle in the flesh.
Well, why are you crying? Did you forget to write yourself a letter?
No, the Wicked Witch stole all my Christmas toys. And now I won't have any presents to give to the good little boys and girls who brush their teeth. Or their feathers. A wax and a wax, Gracie. Christmas will be a flop over.
Don't cry, Santa Claus. Be brave and strong like I am. Oh, imagine no presents for all little kitties. Or ducks.
Oh, look, here comes Aladdin.
Oh, Aladdin, good. All he's got to do is rub his magic lamp, and then he'll get us out of all this trouble.
Santa, listen, I'm in a terrible mess. Hello, Gracie.
Hello, Al.
Listen, Santa, the Wicked Witch stole my lamp. She cast a spell and made herself look like Lana Turner. Then she offered to hold the lamp while I kissed her.
Oh, that's awful.
Well, that isn't the worst of it. When she got the lamp, she broke the spell. You should see the difference between what I started to kiss and what I got through kissing. Oh, poor Aladdin. So the Wicked Witch tricked you and stole your magic lamp? Yes, Santa. And what a lamp. All you had to do was wish for anything you want and rub it. Yeah?
Hey there! Whose magic carpet is that parked outside in front of the fire truck?
Well, it's mine, officer.
Well, you'd better be bogus, and I'll be giving you a ticket.
Oh, and would a big, handsome lad like yourself, all decked out in a nice blue uniform, be after giving a little Irish Italian a ticket?
That laddie will do you no good. I'm an Eskimo.
Come, Herman, we're going. Well, we've got to get Santa's toys back. And Santa Claus, when I find the Wicked Witch, I'll send Herman back here. You jump on his back and fly to the castle.
Oh, I'm too heavy. It's impossible for me to fly on a whistle duck's back.
Oh, nothing's impossible for a man who can be at the May Company and Bullocks at the same time. Come on, Herman. The magic carpet is waiting. Well, we're off to find the witch.
Hey there! How about the lift?
Oh, now, who's that? Oh, it's a hitchhiker on top of that iceberg. I'll pull up and give him a ride. Well, hop on my magic carpet. We're in a big hurry.
Thanks, lady. Well, I'm certainly glad you came along. What was that just passed us?
Oh, a couple of those high school kids on a piece of linoleum.
Darn those jalopies.
Oh, who are you?
Who am I? I'm the bravest man in the world.
Why, Errol Flynn. What happened to your face?
That's not my name. I'm Prince Valiant.
Oh, how'd you? I'm Gracie.
I'm the world's greatest hero. I fear no man. I fear no beast. Take him away. Take him away. Help! Help!
Oh, he won't hurt you. That's just my little duck.
Oh.
Herman, stick your wing out. I'm going to make a turn. You know, Prince Valiant, there's something very familiar about your face. Were you ever in vaudeville?
I still am. I just finished a split week at Lowe's North Pole.
Oh, I knew your face was familiar.
Well, I'm thinking about a new act, and I'm looking for a leading lady. Maybe you'd like to support me.
You know, there's something familiar about that, too.
I guess I should have stayed on the iceberg.
Well, I've got to land and find out where I am.
Here comes a little boy down the road.
Hello.
Hello. I'm very hungry. Have you some supper I can sing for?
What's your name?
Little Tommy Tucker.
Oh, well, here, have a Swiss cheese sandwich. You can eat it and sing through the holes at the same time.
Thanks.
Gee, that was beautiful, little Tommy Tucker.
Tell me, do you have to sing for your supper every night?
Yes, or the Wicked Witch will cut off one of my legs.
Oh, she wouldn't do that.
No, she only says that to scare me. Well, I've got to be hopping along.
Well, goodbye. Come on, Herman. We've got to find that Wicked Witch. Oh, I'll tell that Wicked Witch a thing or two. Believe me. You just wait till I see that Wicked Witch.
Oh, you would like to see the Wicked Witch, eh? The guileless one.
Oh, hello. Nice day, isn't it?
Beastly. But I'm hoping it will cloud up. As soon as she realizes that I'm the Wicked Witch in the flesh, what there is of it.
Well, I'll see you later, Gracie.
Do you live around here?
Who knows where I live? One day a lonely castle in the hills, the next a crowded city street. Today a villa by the sea, tomorrow a mountain retreat.
My, how do you do it? We've been trying to break our lease for months.
I've had enough of this shilly-shallying, me girl.
Do you know, you look exactly like someone I've seen in the movies. Now, let me see.
Well, is it Annie Sheridan, or are we going to argue about it?
I'm Sheridan? Oh, no, I'm not that silly. Oh, I know who it was. Shirley Temple.
Don't be fantastic. There's a good 20 years difference between us. A few bad ones, too.
Well, it's been awfully nice meeting you, but I really must be going.
Wait. You're looking for the Wicked Witch, eh? And just what do you want to see her for?
Well, because I've got to get Santa's toys back.
Oh, I see. You know what the Wicked Witch will do to you? She will transform you into a pain-racked mass of quivering flesh. Then wring your pretty neck and toss your body to the vultures.
Oh, how you're sweet. Well, you shouldn't worry about me. In fact, I'm a little worried about you.
About me? Why, may I ask?
Well, you're all alone out here in the woods, and there might be some men hanging around.
A man where?
Oh, all over. I don't suppose you could direct me to the castle of the Wicked Witch.
Just straight ahead. You can't miss it. The walls are made from bones of skeletons, and the cornices are decorated with human skulls.
Oh, well, I couldn't live in a house like that.
Why not?
No barbecue fits. Well, thanks anyway.
You're quite welcome. Little does she know that I have given her the wrong direction. The treacherous swamps lie in her path. Those swamps have killed hundreds of men. Darn it.
Well, goodbye. Come on, little ducky.
Hey, what a cute little duck.
Oh, yes, he's just like my own son. His name is Herman.
Oh, indeed. Little does she know that tonight I shall dine on roast Long Island Herman. Well, goodbye.
Oh, gee, she's gone. She's disappeared. Come, Herman, we've got to find Herman. Where's Herman? Herman! Herman!
Gracie, are you still in trouble, or can I come back?
Oh, valiant prince. Herman is missing. He must have been ducknapped.
Ducknapped? Then the woman you were talking to must have been the Wicked Witch herself.
Well, how do you like that? And she talks just like a Vassar girl.
Look, there's a duck feather.
Oh, and there's another one. Herman must be pulling out his tail feathers to leave a trail. Well, now we can find the Wicked Witch's castle. Come on, let's go.
Look, there's another feather.
Oh, I hope poor Herman isn't catching cold. Oh, look. Is that a blimp up there?
Hello, Kid.
That's no blimp. That's Humpty Dumpty sitting on a wall.
Oh, gee, isn't he big and round? He must be at least 65 cents a dozen.
Say, Humpty Dumpty, we're looking for the Wicked Witch. Will you come and help us?
I will, just as soon as I finish eating.
Well, when will you be through?
That's funny. Somebody asked me that same question 20 years ago.
Didn't you ever do anything else but eat?
I don't know. When I get home, I'll look in the diary.
Oh, please help us, Humpty Dumpty. The Wicked Witch stole all of Santa's toys.
Oh, then I'll go with you. And I'll take along this spaghetti to tie her up.
Gosh, you don't need that much spaghetti.
Don't worry, it won't go to waste.
Oh.
Well, I'll call all my eggs together. Wait, I'm going to blow on this lamb chop.
Oh, what do you think of that? He blew the paper panties right off the chop.
All right, eggs, we're off to get the witch. Keep your sunny sides up. Look, there's the witch's castle.
Well, what happened to Humpty Dumpty and his gang? My, how those eggs scrambled.
Well, don't worry, Gracie. The valiant prince will protect you. I'm not afraid.
How do your legs feel?
The legs? Fine.
Then I'll put you down. Oh, look! Herman's tail feathers lead right up to the steps. Wasn't it smart of him to leave a trail for us? If we get the toys back, he'll be a hero.
It'll certainly put a feather in his cap.
Oh, that's not where he needs them.
What a ghastly-looking castle.
Oh, wait. Here's one more of Herman's feathers. I'll pick it up and save it for him. Oh, he hasn't dropped this one yet. Oh, my, I'm glad to see you, Herman. Now, quick, you fly to the North Pole and bring back Santa Claus. Oh, and Herman, don't fly backwards. You'll catch cold.
Well, if we're going in to get the Wicked Witch, I better knock on the door. Oh, she's gone. Come on, let's go.
No. Take that and Prince, I'll knock.
It's a skeleton.
Sí, soy Esqueleto y tengo mucho gusto de verlos por aquí.
My goodness, Mr. Skeleton. You shouldn't walk around that way. You'll catch your death cold. You want to get goose pickles?
On me they would not show. I am the witch's butler. Come in.
Oh, poor man. That witch must be a slave driver. Look, he's worked his fingers and everything else to the bone.
Oh, no, señorita. The work here is very easy.
Then how did you become a skeleton?
I was a heavy loser in a street poker game.
Well, come on, Gracie. The witch isn't home, I hope.
She is expecting you. Step right into the torture chamber and make yourselves comfortable.
Will we have to wait long to see the witch?
Oh, no, she just arrived. She is outside tying up her bag.
Oh, was she on one?
See, señorita, while you are waiting, Senor Prince, would you like an arsenic and soda or a beer?
I'll have a beer.
Fine. Little does he know that the beer is spelled B-I-E-R.
Oh, my, what an adorable torture room. I'll bet she subscribes to the Witch's Home Journal.
Gracie.
Who is it?
It's the lad. I sneaked in here and got my magic lamp back, and I'm hiding in this tub of boiling oil.
Oh, well, just keep cool.
Well, don't worry. If there's any way to escape, the valiant prince will find it.
Come back from that door.
Well, it was locked anyway.
You know, the witch is not much of a hostess. She's forgotten all about it.
Forgotten you? Not at all, me pretty.
Oh, there you are. Miss Witch, I'd like you to meet my friend, Prince Valiant.
Yes, I saw him once before at a distance, and it's still a shock.
Well, we've come to get Santa Claus's toys back. May we have them?
Patience, me pet. At the moment, I have other plans for you.
Really?
Oh, quite. For the next hour, I will twist the hair down the back of your neck. I will plaster hot mud on your face. I will pluck your eyebrows out one by one.
Oh, what do you charge for a manicure? I always pay cash.
I'll break your spirit yet. Perhaps it would be better to torture Prince Valiant first and show you how nasty I can be.
No. Please don't hurt me.
I will summon the ugly slave.
Yes, your wickedness.
Put Prince Valiant on the stretching machine. Now watch closely, Gracie, while we stretch his body inch by inch.
Come on. Aladdin, rub the magic lamp and get some help. I am rubbing it. Rub the lamp. Don't forget, Witchy, the swan comes in a green wrapper with a white swan on the front.
Help! Awful noisy in here, don't you think? Would you like a cup of tea?
Oh, I'd love some, Miss Witch.
Come, let's go into my parlor, little fly. That Prince Valiant is really carrying on.
Oh, probably growing pains.
Shall I pour the tea?
Please. Oh, my. There's nothing like a cup of good hot tea. Don't you think so?
You know, you're a most unusual person, Gracie. I may call you Gracie, may I not?
Well, of course,
Gwendolyn.
Oh, of course, Gwen.
As I was saying, you're a most unusual person. You make me feel a little ashamed of myself.
Oh, really? Oh, I just knew you had a good side, Queen. I always say that there's so much worse in the bad of us and so much least in the good of us that it ill best to behoove us to say anything. That's what I always say.
Does somebody understand you?
Oh, yes. But tell me, how did you become such a wicked person?
Naturally, a man was the cause of it all, my dear. What else can make a woman's heart feel as though it would burst? And alternately give her goose flesh and fever.
Well, speaking personally, a Welsh rabbit.
Perhaps. But I shall tell you my story. It begins some years ago at the turn of the century.
Which century?
I won't go into that. It was then that Christopher came into my life. Presently, the whole town was talking of Gwendolyn and Christopher.
Yes, go on.
What a man. He was like Tyrone Power, and just enough wise mother to make him interesting. Enter!
Pardon my rattling, Senorita Witch, but there is a man outside to see you. He is wearing a red suit and a white beard.
Oh, it's Santa Claus. Come in, Santa.
Oh, Gracie, I got you. Gwendolyn.
Christopher Kringle! You came back to me!
My little dream girl.
The love of my life. Here's your bag of toys.
Now I can make me Christmas delivery.
And I'll go with you and help spread the joy.
Oh, and now all the kiddies will have a Merry Christmas after all. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, the Valiant Prince, I almost forgot him. Oh.
Gracie, wake up. Wake up!
Oh, my goodness, George. Oh, I've been asleep. I've just had the most wonderful dream. Gee, you look short.
Come on, let's go up. It's 1 o'clock.
Herman is still asleep. You'll wake him up.
Well, give him to me. I'll carry him up.
Oh, now get up, Papa. I want to thank Edna May Oliver for appearing with us tonight, and in behalf of the entire cast and our sponsor, the makers of Swan, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
And that goes double for me.
Oh, and triple for Herman. Good night.